Good morning.
Good morning from Texas.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Good morning. How are you? Hello, hello. Hello. Hi, Star Texas. Can you hear me now?
So where is it? Koltun?
Yes, I can hear you.
Mm, okay. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello.
on their agreement to stop strike action that has been wreaking havoc in the LNG markets. More details next on Markets Today. This is Bloomberg.
Okay, we've got the Frankfurt open. Let's see where we will go.
This is Bloomberg Markets Today. I'm Anna Edwards, live in London with Tom McKenzie.
The gas trade just less than an hour away. Here are your top headlines. Nvidia does not disappoint. Shares in the tech sector's top performer soar in late trade after its sales outlook comes in well above expectations amid strong demand for AI. Bloomberg has learned that the BRICS group will invite Saudi Arabia to join its ranks as the bloc looks to clear the path for more members and greater global influence. Plus, Russia says Wagner mercenary chief Yevgeny Prigozhin was aboard a private jet that's crashed, killing everyone on board. We bring you the updates throughout this morning.
Lots to discuss this morning. Those Nvidia numbers certainly in focus then, Tom. That's going to be part of what we talk about a great deal, in fact, this morning. We have the Nvidia numbers to dive into. And in fact, it's writ large, really, isn't it, the Nvidia effect across all of these markets?
It is going to be a key driver in the markets today, but there are other catalysts as well in terms of the upside that we're seeing. The futures are pointing higher in Europe. 3 straight days of gains so far. It looks like we could be notching a 4th straight day of gains. You also saw softer data out of the US, feeding into the narrative that maybe Jay Powell will articulate a view on Friday. Tomorrow, of course, Jackson Hole, that they could be coming to the end.
Okay, we're on 50% of previous 4-hour candle now.
Futures now again, after 3 straight days of gains across European stocks, And worth noting as well that in the States,
And
the Nasdaq
let's
ended
see
up higher by about 1.6% in
if
the first half of
can
before
we go
these
lower
Nvidia
or
results came out, and the S&P notching its
this
best
is
day
it.
since June. This is the futures picture in Europe then. You're looking at gains of around 7 to 8 tenths of a percent. We have softer manufacturing data out of France, Germany, and the broader Eurozone yesterday, as well as the UK, and that's led to a readjustment in terms of expectations on the BOE and the ECB. Traders increasingly pricing out less hikes from those central banks, certainly the ECB as well. In terms of US futures then, following the gains of yesterday, Nvidia will be central to the action today, and the futures are pointing to further upside. S&P futures looking to build on the gains of plus 1% yesterday, looking an upside of 7 tenths of a percent in the morning session today. Nasdaq futures looking to gain 1.2%. I wouldn't be surprised to see that moving higher on the back of the blow action in Nvidia, and Dow Jones futures pointing higher by about a tenth of a
So
percent.
far the dollar is dropping, gold going slightly higher, the same with the pound.
Back to the Nvidia theme in just a moment, but this is what we're seeing on commodities. We've been covering this morning the story around the Australian LNG industry. We're seeing talks taking place, risks receding essentially around European gas
I'm gonna
prices.
try
Because
and
talks
stop
are taking place
drinking
between
on
those
the
LNG and
oil.
plus
Plus
we hope that more
dollar.
return to gas markets. We saw actually a big drop in gas prices yesterday. So these drops that we're seeing this morning, down 21% on the European benchmark, 19% on the UK benchmark. That comes on the back of a 14% drop in the former yesterday. So we certainly saw a big movement on this yesterday, perhaps an expectation, and now we see this bigger move as it seems these risks are receding. Back to the Nvidia top story though, Tom, because that really is what is gaining most attention as it goes through the as we go through the Asia session. You can see that all of these markets in Asia are surprising to the upside. We've got the South Korean Kospi, the China CSI 300, the Nikkei, Australian market, all moving higher, and this seems to do with the risk appetite generated by the strength of those numbers, the broad strength of the numbers, and the extent to which they beat expectations, both backward and forward looking. You can see it doesn't stop with equities. We've got the Korean won jumping, and of course, remember, Nvidia is a business that outsources its production to the likes of Samsung and TSMC, and so that could be positive for other chip makers as well. And in Australia, in sovereign bonds, so we're a little more mixed. Through the beginning of August, we saw, of course, that yields going higher story really dominating. We've just seen a few questions being raised around that with the weakness of the data over the last few days, of course. And now we said, of course, we're waiting to see what happens with Jackson Hole, perhaps. But back to Nvidia, Tom.
Yeah, you really nicely outlined the ripple effects of the Nvidia earnings there. We looked again. You talked about Samsung, you talked about TSMC getting hit in Asia on the back of the upside. They, of course, produce and manufacture the chips for Nvidia. And we look for the upside here in Europe as well at the start of trade around ASML and the likes of ST Micro listed over in France. So Nvidia is as we mentioned, in after-hours trading after giving a bullish revenue outlook, fueled, of course, by that AI demand. The chipmaker, which is at the heart of an industry-wide race towards artificial intelligence computing, delivered a third straight sales forecast that surpassed Wall Street estimates. Bloomberg's Ed Ludlow had the details.
Okay, so what we've got 5-minute WMA and you up here. Previous day high, previous day close quite far away because of Nvidia yesterday made this unbelievable move. Okay, let's see.
Press called it, quote, tremendous and broad-based AI demand. In the quarter gone, the fiscal second quarter, the data center sales really came in above expectations, and HGX was a big part of that. Those are the server designs based on H100 or A100 that they ship to hyperscalers. And there was a lot of attempts from analysts on the call to basically ask for more granularity. How can they be so confident that the hyperscalers will continue to invest in this domain? Jensen Huang put it like this: there are two things happening in parallel. A willingness to invest in accelerated computing, but also the response that we've seen to generative AI and the compute needed to support that. In the supply side of the equation, NVIDIA does expect supply to increase in each quarter for the next year. And they said that suppliers, namely TSMC, contract manufacturers, have really stepped up to meet the demand, particularly driven by AI. And finally, China. Executives addressed this head-on on the call amid reports that the US will boost export or technology export controls to China. In the near term, Colette Kress, the CFO, said that new restrictions would have no material effect. But long term, a new set of rules or long-term rules will result in a loss of opportunity for NVIDIA and other US chip names who want to be the leaders and the most competitive in the field of cutting-edge semiconductors. Ed Ludlow for Bloomberg News in San Francisco.
A nice wrap up there from Ed Ludlow in San Francisco of some of the details behind the market's excitement over NVIDIA. Let's take a step back, though, and ask what this means for the broader market story. I'm very pleased to say that Paul Dawson joins us this morning to take us through his market thinking. He is, of course, in Singapore. Paul, very nice to have you on the programme. At this time of day, we normally start the clock and count Mark down for 3 minutes on the market, so we'll do the same with you, if that's okay. And let's start with the NVIDIA effect. Do we think that this rescues the NASDAQ from what has been a pretty disappointing August so far?
Well, it's certainly going to help, Anna. We can see that already in the futures and the read across to the broader market as well. We're in this AI gold rush, and it's NVIDIA that's making the picks and the shovels, right? And so they're really riding this wave. I think, it's encouraging that they beat those earnings estimates. The profit forecast was higher than expected as well. They're making as much money in a quarter now as they made in the whole year of 2021, just to give you an idea of the sort of scale of the jump in revenue that they're experiencing. But I think, there's two sides to this, right? We also know that the better the economy looks, the higher bond yields are going and the less appealing that's making the big tech stocks look. Now, we had a little bit of a pause in that in the last couple of days, everybody getting ready for Chair Powell and what he's going to say at Jackson Hole. So perhaps we'll have a good day again today, but how we go for the rest of the month is still to be determined.
It's still to be determined, certainly helping to the upside today in terms of risk appetite. What about the bad data that we saw yesterday? And there was plenty of it. That services data for Europe.
Are you in anything, Koltun?
I'm in short.
Does it add to the global pause
At 400?
conversation?
I'm in short at, yes, 15407.
Absolutely. We saw it in the market reaction very strongly.
So 15000
Pretty surprised when I logged in this morning in Asia to see
0.75.
bad economic news, really bad economic news, really bad on the services, and yet big rally in software bonds, of course, but a big rally in the stocks accompanying that as well. So I think that the market's twisted up a little bit.
Well, I'm in long from open. I haven't taken any profit.
You had a very nice entry. Yeah, the 15400, it was nice area to take the
I did
profit.
15 through 25.50.
What about the bond markets more broadly?
But I haven't taken any profit. I should have taken it at 400, but I was waiting for. I have it take profit at 419. All of it.
Okay. Well, let's see if we'll be going back there or not. I would like the price go a little bit lower to have a nice healthy move up later, but let's see. Definitely VIX is at 16, is very low, and it will open even lower on the open of the session for London. So I want to see what will happen to all of the stocks.
On the markets, Tom.
We will get you up to speed now on the other events that we are tracking today and tomorrow. So it is the last day of the next summit over in South Africa. We're expecting more final remarks. Maybe we'll communicate as well, following the details and the reporting from Bloomberg that Saudi Arabia will be invited to join the bloc at 12 p.m. UK time. We're going to get a rate decision from the Turkish Central Bank. Bloomberg Economics since the NBC continuing its march for a gradual set of rate hikes. Stateside, when you get durable goods orders for the month of July and initial job dispatch data as well.
It's been super slow.
Yeah, yesterday there was a lot of moves, so today market will be a bit more little bit slower.
On Friday, don't miss Bloomberg's exclusive interview with the ECB President Christine Lagarde. That's at 9 p.m. UK time. So there's going to be a lot to talk about when it comes to Jackson Hole. We'll be focused on Jerome Powell and Christine Lagarde come Friday. That's going to be the focus. But I think perhaps worth lingering a little further on the strength of the risk appetite that we're seeing in the wake of these NVIDIA numbers, the read across we're seeing into broad risk sentiment, which is interesting to see. It was like this last time, and once again, NVIDIA delivers the scale of the beat when you look backwards, when you look forwards. The
Dollar
extent
is
to which they make
dropping.
way more money out of this data center AI linked business than they do out of gaming now.
And that's a transition, absolutely. From gaming, it used to be the core part of the business, to the data center part of the business now as well. And the question marks over whether or not they'd actually be able to meet the demand. The analysts haven't been too concerned about whether the demand would be there.
Yeah.
What they're concerned about is whether they'll actually be able to meet and supply that demand. And it seems they're well positioned to do it. They have to rely, as you touched on TSMC, on Samsung to actually crunch out these chips. And so far, they haven't had too many years. They're able to get the supply to the customer.
And it's in that
Okay,
context
looks
that
like
it's really
trading
interesting that
stop
they're doing the
switched
buyback.
off.
And one of our colleagues in Asia making this point as well, that,
Trading stop, which was printed from a long
Yeah.
time, is just off now. That's quite good for my short.
But anyway, the market doesn't seem too worried right now about happening
Man.
Apple on the
Yeah,
story.
the reason why I entered short it was seeing the bearish divergent hit the level, and yeah, the risk is just 10 points and the reward could be quite big.
On that story. Plus, Travelodge's CEO Jane Boydell joins us to talk about her company's earnings and the state of hospitality.
Up next, more than on the video, topping the bill, of course, for the markets. We're seeing the chipmakers' results smashing estimates. We continue to bring the analysis and implications of that earnings report from the leading maker of these AI chips. And if you have any questions on your own, yes, send them to us on TV. Going to also get more from the
It will
markets
be
today.
interesting to see what's happening on a view up and previous day high.
Mm-hmm.
This is Bloomberg.
If we'll go there.
Oh my God, these kids! I'm gonna kill them.
Don't do that.
They're, they're awake over there. Allison! Oh, maybe tell me. I'm gonna yell at them. Sorry.
That's okay. Okay.
That they're in my room and I'm in the living room and I can hear them running around. I don't know what they.
They got the fun.
Oh my God. They should be asleep. It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, they should be asleep.
When you start school on Monday.
I'm just wondering how big retracement we can have. If we will have any retracement, because yesterday we had amazing bull run, and it could be that's it. 59. Okay, it's another trend line. And that 59 we've got the green extension.
Okay, I guess I don't know. I don't know.
Shame you
How
didn't
much
take a
money did I
profit
get?
earlier.
2362 to I lost $6,000 if I get out right now.
Oh.
Do you see it? Where do you see it going? Honestly, honestly.
Now I am just in short because we hit the level and I saw the bearish divergent, but otherwise
Mhm.
I am still bullish. We need to retrace a bit from the move yesterday, but
Mhm.
I'm not saying that this need to happen now.
Right.
This can happen really much later today, but as I sent you a message yesterday, we expect for Sydney session to be bullish, which was, and we need to start some retracement, but we never know when. We can go another like 20, 30, 40 points up and maybe then retracement. So far,
Mhm.
I am 26 points up. I was 30, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot of good news around this morning, isn't there, for the markets? But I just wanted to bring us back to the call for out of China. Just checking in again on this story and the linkages between the property sector and signature realtor with Evergrande and Country Garden, and how it's possible that if you pull the thread on the property sector in China, it can all start to unravel. The linkages between the property sector, the banking sector, and the shadow banking sector. And that's what I want to bring down with the must read today. It's got some really smart charts, so check it out on the terminal and on Bloomberg.com. And the pull-out quote for me comes from someone who's
For me, I would literally like to see the price going to 25 area 20.
Oh my God. No. No, no, no. That's too far.
It's a healthy
Oh
retracement.
no.
But there is a strong support at 55.
In China, the collective
Mhm.
pouring of money from individual investors and businesses and funneling that into certain
Dollar
investments. And real
just
estate is a big
wake
part of
up. You
that.
can
We've seen
see
that
what he's
breakdown.
doing.
It's huge. It's a huge business. It's worth about 2.9 trillion.
Hold on real quick for you.
The size of China's economy. This is shadow banking. It's the
After
trusts. This is
dropping.
what this comprises of. And about 7.4% of that money is invested in real estate directly. But indirectly,
Okay, this is the first resistance for dollar. Let's see what will do now.
People put their money into these trusts because they offer a much higher yield, 6% you get from the banks. So it draws that in, but of course it's higher risk. The challenge is then
We're in a cheap box.
property prices accelerate.
Yep.
You could see
But we was,
$8 billion
as I was telling you earlier, we was really have a huge bull run and they need to grab some liquidity. Everybody counting on it. This is, I'm not saying it need to happen now because everybody counting on it.
Mhm.
Then they can just say, okay, not yet.
You have a trail bell, a bullish trail stop at 367.50.
Mm-hmm. And a 5 minute WMA.
Okay. Um,
The company also issued a fresh warning, though, about US export restrictions to China, saying such a move will hurt US companies in the long term. Joining us now with this broader view of the market, Guillaume, who's the head of EMEA investment strategy and economics at Citi Global as well. Guillaume, nice to have you with us. Thanks for joining us here on set. Let me ask you about then the tech story. We see a lot of enthusiasm for AI themes, NVIDIA embodying that overnight, and has been the sort of poster child for AI success to date. Are there areas of excitement around AI in Europe that we can focus on as well?
It's quite difficult because when you look at the index composition, the tech sector is relatively small, and I think that's going to continue because the leadership continues to stay with the US. The innovation is there, the capital is there, and I think that what matters more to Europe is what the US economy is
Dollar.
doing than what China is doing.
What's make you
So as long as
to
we have
run
a
so
decent
hard?
growth forecast for the US economy, I think we can ignore a little bit of the worries about China, unless you're called Germany.
Right. Okay, interesting. I just want to put
Unemployment claims today. Okay.
from AI continue to kind of drive through these high yields. We've seen these high yields. We know now that the big gap between the 10-year yield and the dividend yield, the earning yield, has now
Tomorrow.
Can tech continue to power through? Yields continue to rise?
Dollar can go a little bit higher in this case if we've got unemployment claims today.
The optimism around tech.
I think it's difficult once you start to see this
So I
gap
want to see
to
how
go
this will
materially
work
between bonds and
against the
equities for
stock.
people to continue to put a lot of risk in the equity market. We've got a pretty good run so far this year. And I think that what's the most difficult thing is to add on risk at the moment. We're pretty neutral. We think that the global economic outlook is going to be a bit disappointing next year. And therefore, we don't necessarily completely agree with Bill Dudley in the sense that yields can continue rising forever. Real yields have been going up quite a lot, and that's going to be a significant headwind for the global economy. So I think the direction of travel is towards lower bond yields for the next 6 to 12 months, and that's the reason why we are overweighted.
Is that because, yeah, the concern that will dominate is around the global economy, so money will go into the bond markets? You think that's what's going to bring down those concern around global growth?
A lot of the equity markets are expensive, and the exposure that we have to equities is in the cheaper segments of the market, where we're looking at more neutral positions in small and mid caps, for instance. We like European equities because we think they are cheap on a relative basis and an absolute basis. So yields make a lot of sense at these levels because inflation is still high, and inflation expectations have not come down materially. So central banks are going to stay high for longer, for sure. But I think the peak in yields is very much in. The global economy can't live with 4% yield.
Okay, I don't want that breakout yet on crude.
I think at this stage the banking system doesn't look that bad. You have to remember that we have many universal banks in Europe, which obviously capitalized. And also the big difference is that we used to live in a world of negative interest rates or close to zero interest rates. European savers are very voracious, and they save an awful lot of money. And now, certainly, the central bank and the banks are giving them interest on their stocks of deposits, which is adding to their income. So it's perhaps not so bad.
Okay, first TP done on oil.
Perhaps with a bit of delay and
going break even.
Significant increase saving in the short term. And let me take you further into your view on the German side of this then. You were suggesting obviously there's linkages between the Chinese and the German economy. We saw the manufacturing and services data once again disappointing, or manufacturing once again disappointing, and adding in a services disappointment on Germany yesterday. How perhaps things get for Germany? Where's the low, I suppose?
I guess Germany has been in recession, and will probably stay in recession for the next 6 months or so. Is it that bad that Europe's largest economy is perhaps having a bit of a reset mode on the business model? I think I'm more encouraged by what's happening in the periphery, where the catch-up in terms of real GDP was necessary, and we see that being delivered now with the recovery programs that Europe has been funding a lot of money through to close the performance gap. So I think the German situation is encouraging for investors in the sense that it's going to put the pretty
so yeah, it looks like trailing stop is helping us for now.
ECB delivers the final rate hike that it anticipates. You know, data dependency. I think it's very close. I think that they will probably at the margin want to do 4 because 4 looks like nice round in a way. And then you can stay there at 4%, and you can inflation is 2%.
Green prove it. It's a good sign for you.
The central bank, I think, has the problem of long-term inflation expectations to deal with. I was looking yesterday at 5-year forward.
And 200 MA.
That's perhaps not completely consistent with the medium-term price stability objectives that they are looking at markets to deliver eventually.
So I suppose what we're looking for Christine Lagarde then, ECB president, when we get to tomorrow, Jackson Hole, what will you be looking for? Is it a bit more guidance around what data dependence really means right now, what it is they are dependent on?
I think that they can point to the fact that inflation is going in the right direction, quite fast on headline, a little bit slower on core, but I think that most of the heavy lifting has been done. And now what's really urgent is to be patient. And 6 months from now, the talk of rate cuts, I think, is going to be looking maybe at adding some UK equities. We've been neutral for the last 6 months.
Yeah, I missed that on the scalper actually.
Okay, and I think this time around,
That was nice TP area.
So I wouldn't be surprised as and when we can see the peak in interest rates for the Bank of England benchmark. We would be buying the US equity benchmark, UK equity benchmark, simply put, because of the once we get that peak, and once we see the turn in interest rates be effectively proven to be accurate by the Fed.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us this Thursday on set. Guillaume Menuet, Head of EMEA Investment Strategy and Economics at Citi Global Wealth. Coming up, Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin is presumed dead. Russian media say he died in a plane crash. We're going to bring you the details next. On the equities front, European futures are pointing higher by 0.8%, looking to notch a fourth straight day of gains. Expectations that Nvidia continues to prove a catalyst across these equity markets as investors also readjust to the potential of Jay Powell outlining a pause.
Profit by
This is Britta.
the line change green and what we'll be doing now. Looking yesterday for crowd. Could be dream, but we'll see. On 340 it's really nice. If we can bring the price there, it will be lovely for the bears to 340, because we'll be feeling some miss orders, and then 190. Okay, let's see what London will bring for the market. Dollar try to go higher and make a new high of the day. But most of the money going to the is taken from the currencies, because pound and euro is dropping hard.
Nvidia doesn't disappoint. Shares in the tech sector's top performers soar in late trade after its sales outlook comes in well above expectations amid strong demand for AI. Gas prices slump as Australia's
Quite small surge for the rest of the bulls.
appears to have settled a labour dispute, avoiding strikes. Plus, Russia says Wagner mercenary chief Yevgeny Prigozhin was aboard a private jet that's crashed, killing everyone on board. We will bring you updates throughout the morning. Tom.
Anna, we are setting ourselves up for another positive session here in Europe. We've had 3 straight days of gains. It looked like, at this point at least, we may get a fourth. Of course, Nvidia smashing it out of the park for the third straight time in terms of its outlook, and that is going to be a catalyst, even if the direct plays between Nvidia and Europe are a little softer than they would be over the Asian session. And the Asian session has been positive as well. The future's set up for a good day. Can't go on. You're looking at gains of 0.6% at this point. FTSE 100 looking to add 41 points. A turnaround in terms of what's happening with the FTSE 100, the fortunes there And it was interesting to hear from Guillaume Menuet from City Global Wealth earlier saying that he would be interested in buying the index once he has clarity on the rate direction from the BOE. He also likes European banks, by the way. DAX futures pointed against 71 points, adding 0.4% now.
Tom, let's move on from the markets where it's clear that we've got a lot to talk about when it comes to the tech sector. On to Russian politics. The man who launched a failed mutiny against President Vladimir Putin, Yevgeny Prigozhin, is presumed dead. Russia's aviation authorities say he was in a plane crash northwest of Moscow that killed all 10 on board. A warning, the video that we're about to show is quite graphic.
ATR is
This
not so bad,
unverified
it's
video
ticking
comes from
too.
Russian media outlet TASS.
Which is better than yesterday, but
In June against
yeah,
President
we're not
Vladimir
going
Putin.
anywhere.
The biggest threat to his almost quarter-century rule. No cause has been given for the crash. Joining us now is Bloomberg's Maria Tadeo with the political analysis of where we
I'm
are.
not sure
Maria,
what we're
good morning
waiting
to
for.
you. I mean, what details do we have? One suspects that detail and facts might be hard to come by and subject to a lot of spin. So what do we actually know?
Yes, Anna, and in terms of details, we don't have a lot. Yesterday, the Russian aviation put out an alert suggesting that a plane had crashed. In fact, the story at that point was that a plane had crashed going from Moscow to St. Petersburg, and it was after revealed that Prigozhin featured as one of the passengers, the 10 people aboard this plane. If you go back to his personal history and his business deals, he used to do Moscow, St. Petersburg very frequently. This was also a rich, wealthy individual, so the fact that he was in a private jet going from Moscow to St. Petersburg is not a shock itself. Now, in terms of the reasons, not a lot of details given on that front. It is presumed that an investigation will be going on, but again, it's very thin on those details. It is interesting to me to see the way that this is being treated on Russian state TV. It's very short, very sober, and it just says he dies in this plane crash. No reaction from the Kremlin. It is interesting, however, to see the comments from the President of the United States saying, look, sorry, I don't know what happened, but am I shocked, surprised? No. And Anna, there is a history of critics and opponents Vladimir Putin who found themselves in mysterious accidents and situations that resulted either in injury or death.
Yeah, President Biden's lack of surprise being echoed by a number of other military spokespeople and strategists, all saying they were not particularly surprised by this.
So we obviously don't have confirmation at this point, but it seems to add to that long list, again, as you say, of assassinations and attempted assassinations. At least that is the speculation at this point. Really interesting in our reporting here that he, Yevgeny, used to fly around 2 jets, one as a decoy and one that he'd actually travel in because of the risks he clearly faced. What does it mean for the war? You've charted and followed the war on the ground in Ukraine very closely, Maria. What does it mean for the Wagner troops who are still there? How many are still there? And is their leader and the number 2 taken out as well, it seems, or at least crashed and died as a result of this? What does it mean for the operations on the ground?
Look, if you go back to the past year, it is clear that there has been a power struggle, between Wagner and the Russian army. At this point, you could argue the winner of this power struggle is the Russian army, the official Russian army. Wagner, as it was before, no longer exists ever since this coup and this insurrection happened 2 months ago. The almost red line for Vladimir Putin is that they would have to join the Russian army officially or go into exile. To me, it will change anything on the ground. When we look at Ukrainian officials, they say they don't believe it will. What they suggest, however, is that, remember, there was the deal that was cut between Vladimir Putin, Lukashenko, and Prigozhin on paper. What Ukrainians say is that it was understood he would stay alive if he went to Belarus, and today he's presumed dead. The Ukrainians say these are the Russian machinery that we're supposed to negotiate with. It shows that deals that you cut with them, they're not worth the paper they're written on. So there's a political aspect to it. And there's a big question about the operations that Wagner had will continue to have in Africa. Now that the Russian allegedly would not be needing those, we know that both the United States and the European Union have said that they have reason to believe the Russian, both Wagner destabilized a number of
I
governments.
just left one contract open
Maria,
and break
always
even.
excellent, comprehensive on that development. What a development it is in terms of the fate of Yevgeny Prigozhin and the
One contract.
I closed because I had I opened for contracts. I took first TP and
Okay.
then I have still 3 open, and just now I removed 2 of them and left only 1 open on break even. This way, if the price will go lower, then that's good. I will still have 1 contract, and
Mhm.
I done what I like in the morning, just secure nice profits. Yeah, $980, which is nice.
Because we are anticipating South African President Cyril Ramaphosa to
take the stage in just a few minutes and announce some of this reporting that we've been getting overnight. So last night, we had heard that these BRICS leaders were closer to an agreement about which countries were potentially going to be added to the BRICS bloc. And this morning,
It looks
we
like the
have
dollar
some
today is not
confirmation that, as you mentioned, Saudi
correlated
Arabia is
with
going to be one of those countries
NQ
added to
because
the
dollar
BRICS
going higher and
coalition,
NQ getting
and
the
potentially
strength.
even Egypt and other Middle Eastern countries. Now, this had been speculated for a while, whether or not we were actually going to hear about specific
That was
countries.
a nice
And
exit
so we were
actually.
interrogating Cyril Ramaphosa to detail some of those deliberations and how this moves forward. And it's unclear from the Saudi and Egypt side specifically whether or not they are going to accept this motion, but we do know that a delegation from Saudi was sent. And what's significant about this, the other day we were speaking to Jim O'Neill, who coined the term BRICS 20 years ago, and of all the countries that were proposed and floated to potentially be added to this bloc, he said Saudi Arabia would be quote, a pretty big deal because, as you mentioned, of course, it's a major oil producer. And he said the question would be whether or not they start to decide to price oil potentially in local currencies because
Took
moving
TP
away,
from
shifting away
oil
from
as
dominance of the
well,
dollar has
left
been
only
a key
one contract
priority
open.
for these BRICS leaders. And so we're going to have to wait to see how this plays out. But this is the first new bit of news
22.
on the expansion that we're hearing. And so in just a few minutes, we're hopefully going to get some confirmation about those countries and about potentially any other countries added.
Continuation to go long.
Yes, we're just looking at live pictures coming to us, as you say. We're waiting for the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa to take to the stage and make these announcements. It will be interesting in Saudi Arabia. Well, first we'll wait to see if it's confirmed that the offer is extended to them. If they
It looked like
accept
because
this
I
traditionally,
was in my shot, I
the United States and
lost a
so they'll
nice
have to
entry
wait and
long
take
so
what they
far.
will
As
sort
soon
of
as
come
we
back
start
to,
to
I
print the
suppose,
trading
against certainly all
stop.
the governments now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be interesting to see whether Saudi Arabia decides
Let's
is
see.
it important to accept this offer.
Open in 20 minutes, so still anything can happen.
Yeah, and I think, Anna, as you mentioned, what we've been hearing leading up into this is that BRICS was really not trying to be anti-West by any means, or not trying to be, a counter to the U.S. or to the G7, but they really wanted to be a voice in a new bloc that could potentially advocate for
Change
global
bullish
south on the international stage.
to bullish
So
again.
now, with a major oil producer like Saudi, this really significant what Bloomberg Economics is projecting that
And
in
this
the next
is
10 to 15 years, this group of BRICS could continue
16.
to be a
If
group
we break
that
the
produces that
405
close to
now,
double the GDP
the
of
next
the world,
area
and
where
more
I
than
will
that.
see
So
the
it
support
could potentially
is
then be a
at
key player. And what does that mean for other
417.
countries potentially being added going forward?
Port.
So the resistance is 417.
Okay. I cannot believe my kids are awake. They're getting on my lap.
Excuse me.
But we got to break this 4-hour candle deal.
Uh,
Is
yeah,
that considered a resistance or a support?
that's considered as resistance, the previous 4-hour close.
And I think that the number one thing that you're trying to do if you get on this stage and the front runners
And so far look quite
is to
strong.
get other people to take a look at your campaign. I think that's the number one most important thing. And when you're talking about winning and losing in a debate in the U.S. system, you can't be talking about it like a boxing match. That's not what we're doing. It's a long-term game. I think Nikki Haley is the first name that I would point out there as somebody who's probably convinced Republican voters to maybe take another look at her. I think the other name is one that is not very well known in the United States or otherwise, candidly. It's a guy named Vivek Ramaswamy. He's a businessman. He's about 38 years old. He is a political neophyte. He's voted only twice before. He's not been a name that a lot of people have heard, but he's somebody who's come out with a little bit of an insurgent campaign, not unlike Andrew Yang previously, or Pete Buttigieg, or even Donald Trump. So he's somebody he was a name that actually runs in polling around where Ron DeSantis is polling, and he was the subject of repeated attacks from Haley, from Chris Christie, from former Vice President Mike Pence, again and again trying to knock him off. But I saw his one focus poll, or focus group, actually, he said that Ramaswamy
Come on.
I do think for some of those lower down candidates, this was a chance for Trump not on the stage to make their case before tomorrow.
So I'm happy I left one contract open.
Hmm?
At least still something is in, and I am not like urging to take a trade
Mm-hmm.
and secure some
You're still
profits.
short?
I'm still short with one contract only, so I don't have the urge to take any trades.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, I can give you a very long answer, a very short one. The very short one is no. The slightly longer one, since we have a little bit more airtime than that, is that people didn't honestly try and take down Donald Trump, right? He wasn't the subject of a lot of attacks. That wasn't what people were trying to do in this debate. And I found that to be really interesting because if you're somebody like Ron DeSantis, you're down, and the moderator's told at one point, you're down 30, 40 points. Ron DeSantis wasn't actually trying to make an anti-Donald Trump case. He was trying to make a pro-Ron DeSantis case. And I saw that across a lot of these candidates right now. I'll tell you how I'm thinking about this. And when we talk months down the road, you can come back to me on this. I think there's three phases of this campaign, right? There's a phase to get down to three candidates, Trump, DeSantis, and one other person. There's a phase to get down to two candidates, that's Trump and somebody else. And then there's whoever wins up against the Democrat, probably Joe Biden. We don't
390.
which is why you're not trying to see people knock off Donald Trump. We're not there yet, right? They're trying to get themselves, as this field winnows down, as the debate criteria ramps up and the stage gets narrower, for some of these candidates who are in that fourth, fifth, sixth spot with polling about 2, 3, 4%, they're trying to make sure that they're there as the field winnows down. And so that's where I think you saw the strategy be completely different.
Well, we'll come back to your 3 months is out there, definitely. We look at your smart content, smart analysis. Derek Wolfgang, thank you very much indeed. Of course, watch that debate for us and has put it into really interesting context. We'll continue to watch how that unfolds. Thank you. Coming up, we're going to take this the open, including supplies of Boeing after the aircraft maker finds a big defect in its 737 MAX jet. Stay with us. This is the
89. I got 89. 99. Almost 7 points. And it just fucking. Oh my god. All the way up, all the way down. And the ATR is 364. Oh, you said when it's a small number.
It's going up, but the number is small now because nobody is interested to trade anything yet. It's not that like something happened and we don't have any interest. Okay, this was the POC of the ceiling. This is what I missed on the covers. This is why we can go any lower. If we come back here, this is my TP.
So if I would have gotten now, it was at 2362, 1942.
will close my trade with gold on loss.
You can't even get out of the box.
Welcome back to markets today. 13 minutes until the start of cash equities trading. The futures picture is fairly rosy for European stocks. US futures have been a little
12 minutes.
up by 1.3%. These American futures all about the liquidity effect and risk appetite there. Let's check in with markets today for our team. Christina Aquino joins us from the team to take us through what's been covered on the blog. And good morning to you, Christine. Interesting that you make the point, of course, about Nvidia fueling a tech rally and triggering
Okay,
better
the
risk
gold
appetite, but also
is
you think this is
gone.
a bad data yesterday, and the fact that we could be back in a bad data is good news kind of radio.
371.
Yeah, absolutely.
372.
Sequence of events, right? First, we got that global slump in PMIs. It was astounding, really, that we saw it everywhere: Europe, the UK, the US, and you really get this feeling that the global economy is very much slowing down, as engineered by the central banks who have delivered a lot of rate hikes over the past year. And then, of course, after the markets closed, we got Nvidia results, very much still going strong with that AI-fueled rally. And so today we get this combination of good news in tech, and then of course the idea that perhaps central banks might consider pausing
350
their
would
interest
be
rate
really
hike
nice
campaigns,
if we
and
go
all
to
not really
350.
making for quite the return of risk
349,
appetite
thank
today.
you.
So it's a question of how long this is going to last,
I
because
would be
central
very
banks
happy
have
there.
After we go to 417.
more interest rate hikes. This could all change very quickly.
And talking the soft data, we had some lines out from the last few minutes in terms of French August manufacturing confidence falling to 96 versus 101. So this is a soft data, but again pointing to softness in the French economy on the back of that.
Oh my god, I'm gonna kill them, dude. I'm gonna kill them.
And you and the team were all talking about this kind of run-up in yields, the bond sell-off. That appears to have turned. Are we seeing maybe a squeeze on the shorts in the bond markets? How are we thinking about whether or not this is a consequential pivot? I mean, I guess a lot of it's tied to what Jay Powell said as well.
Absolutely, Tom. And yeah, I think that's also part and parcel of this whole bad economic news is good for markets.
Girls need to go to bed now. Turn the lights off and turn off the TV and go to bed.
They've got the good
Stop
fun.
banging on my wall.
Leave them alone. They've got the good fun.
They're tumbling. They're trying to do stuff on my walls. My walls are. I just remodeled that room. They're gonna dirty my walls. I should wake them up early in the morning at 7. Just because they sleep all day. I'm gonna make them get up and let me think. What can I make them do tomorrow in the morning?
Okay, another trap.
Aubrey Morales. Maybe not because you're awake. You're gonna be asleep by the time it's time to meet the teacher. Go to bed.
Like sentiment can shift very quickly depending on new data points that you get. I think in terms of the general trajectory, I do agree with the idea that yes, probably
Cannot believe she is awake. Or I don't even know if the other one's awake. I moved my camera. One over. Why are you so slow?
At the moment, the idea of a slower economy is arresting that pace of run-up in bond yields that we saw, I think, at the start of this year. And I think now we're potentially, possibly looking at a ceiling for yields at the moment, at least until we get more fodder from central banks. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, quite a lot of people that, even if they disagree on the very near term, a lot of people suggesting we're not going back to the post-GFC days, although there are various views on that even. And let me take you to China then, and we're seeing interesting focus there on local government debt, the balance sheets that local governments run, and what that is hiding, or what risks lurk beneath those balance sheets. How is this influencing the risk picture this morning? Well, and I think this is kind of the counterpoint to the risk of thinking that we have in markets, right? Is the ongoing problems in China. I mean, in particular, this is very much in focus just because it's such a huge debt pile, $9 trillion.
It was cheating. That's 8 minutes.
Essentially being saddled upon local government units. And so, what we're seeing here is essentially, again, that
push and pull between local governments and the central government. There's a lot of pressure on the federal government to kind of provide support and bailouts to ease the burden on these local governments to deal with this debt. But if we're not
You
doing
think
that,
it's going to be
how are
retraced as
the
well
local governments
and then go back up like it did today?
or how are they going to be able to
Yeah, we are
To
bullish, so the price should go higher.
500?
the sort of
Uh, only
increase
one
in
thing is
spending
dollar
that
will
the
try to
federal
raise
government
today a bit higher because we've got the
so yeah, very
unemployment
much how this sort of
claims.
situation. One to watch for sure in the
Oh, I
trends.
need to be out of that. I need to be out of the trades during that time, I think.
Yeah,
I need to be out during payroll. I
yeah.
need to be out during ICT and FOMC. Oh my God.
Morning, Alice. We've got a close eye on these chip makers here in Europe this morning after
They're the longest 7 minutes of my life. Just
for the last quarter. Yesterday,
So far, I'm happy that I stay with my contract.
to the AI sector, which should help drive
you're doing a mini?
Yeah, this is why I closed some of them because I saw the price going
3.
towards my
Mhm.
break even and I was gonna secure some of them.
Just a few moments ago, and they say what is
It's always much easier when you're like half a day in a trades and you see
Mhm.
expecting the areas where market can go, but usually the mornings are quite difficult.
You okay there? You're getting sick?
I'm getting sick, I didn't sleep well. This is why I don't want to sit too long today on the trades.
Uh-oh.
Then I got some friends visiting today, staying till Monday, Tuesday, sorry.
Mm.
We got bank holiday,
So that's the potential question
Mm.
this morning, Tom. So Airbus
so we'll
should
see how this
benefit
will
from
go.
this news, given that Boeing fell last night after the company announced that a supplier
Okay,
had
dollar
mistakenly
trying to
dropped some
go
holes
higher.
into a component that is used to control cabin pressure in its jets, and they are reviewing their target for production for the full year for 737 airliners, which is the main
Another
focus
5
at the moment.
minutes.
We saw that stock dropping a bit
Mm-hmm.
yesterday in terms of Boeing. It actually fell more after the market had closed as well. So as you mentioned, could this be positive for Airbus? But could it be negative for companies that supply Boeing, like Rolls-Royce, Safran, Leonardo? Those stocks have all been on a rally recently, given the recovery in long-haul air travel. But this is potentially a negative one.
Joe, thanks very much. Our equities reporter Joe Easton. Lots of news
So
on
far,
that.
the easiest trade that I took today it was oil. I shorted and it's going really well.
Nice. I used to do all that, but I'm scared now to do anything. With all the money I lost.
Okay,
Phobia.
quite big moves on gold, and I don't getting why. What you trying to do now?
Is it dropping or going up?
It's ranging, but with the huge candles.
Oh, okay.
They cannot break a 48.5.
Uh,
Okay, 3 minutes.
371. 371. Mm.
Cool. You're doing well.
One minute. One minute. 1 minute.
And let's hope we'll have some movement. If not,
Hopes the movement to the upside.
we'll be still
Like go to
stunned.
the bottom of Frankfurt Box and then go up. I already went through the stress with that number.
Natural gas export plant appears to have settled a labor dispute, avoiding strikes. Plus, Russia says Wagner mercenary chief Yevgeny Prigozhin was aboard a private jet
Oops.
killing everyone on
Okay, we got the open.
the morning. So that's one of the geopolitics, Anna, but really the focus is almost come through from NVIDIA and maybe some expectations that Jay Powell is going to outline a dovish message tomorrow. We'll see if investors get disappointed on that front, but they have not been disappointed on NVIDIA.
Yeah, absolutely. Risk appetite certainly to the fore when it comes to the aftermarket of those NVIDIA numbers. Once again, just like we saw last quarter. So what does that look like when we take a cross-asset view of markets right now ahead of the European Open? MSCI Asia Pacific up by 1%, and Nasdaq futures up pretty strongly. This is the NVIDIA effect. We look back, we look forwards, the reporting numbers, the guidance they've given, all of that coming in ahead of market expectations. And so there does seem to be a lot to justify all of the hype around AI, at least in the short term. And the US 10-year yield 4.18%. So we are seeing some buying down. Those yields coming a little lower, Tom, to our point conversation in the last hour. It seems to that weak data across Europe and into the US yesterday, perhaps causing people to just question whether we are seeing that. Whether we're seeing that a sustained change in the direction of the yield story. And
There's a bullish move.
7%. Another day of weakness there on the back of that Australian story, Tom.
So those catalysts,
I mean the print.
Yeah, and we're going up.
Oh yeah, but we need to pass 400. Otherwise, it's a short, or according to Adam's numbers.
Okay.
This is what we've got on European equity markets. Then the FTSE up by 0.3%. I suppose it's interesting to think about how much of that tech story really translates into Europe. We'll get a glimpse of that in a moment. More difficult to find. The tech sector is smaller, as we were hearing from our guest from City Private Wealth earlier on. How
I'm
much
out.
does that translate into European tech? Or is it just about broad sentiment, the opportunities in AI? Or is it?
Did you go short?
No, I'm out of from the trade, so now I'll just wait to see what's happening. Not taking any long, nothing like that. Okay, the mid channel just came here.
Yeah, it just moved up.
So that would be nice to see if we can stay above it. Then definitely will be bullish.
Into European FX story. What do you see at the start of trade in terms of sectors?
Across the sectors yesterday, energy was the laggard, and it looks like that's going to be the same picture today on the back of that deal. It's good news, of course, for an inflation flight. The fact that there are not going to be strikes, it seems, out of Australia that could impact about 10% of the world's LNG. So energy as a sector is going to be
15480.
It's just turning up a little bit now, a 10 or 8%, but oil is off in the session, and we've seen the gas prices.
So you want another 80 points?
The real focus, though, we
That'd be awesome if I could, but I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna put a stop as soon as it goes. I have a stop at 417, like ready to
Okay.
take the contracts off the table.
But there's the linkage to the tech optimism. And again, part of the story that Anna was unpacking around
4:30, and then I wanna see what's happening at 4:30.
adjusted is also proving a positive for that sector, it seems.
He said there was a lot of resistance.
Construction also
That's why he told me to get out at 419.
again on the back of yields coming in somewhat, the house builders getting a bit of a lift on that front. Retail also doing well, up 1.4%. Across the main sectors, then green on the screen, standout being
Okay.
technology.
This is where we start increase tracking a liquidity area.
Let's find the source of that story. Nvidia soared in after-hours trading after giving a bullish revenue outlook fueled by AI demand. The chip maker, which is at the heart of an industry-wide race toward artificial intelligence computing,
Probably gonna want to drop lower and then grab some money.
Bloomberg's Ed Ludlow filed this report from San Francisco.
There is staying power for Nvidia's AI story. The guidance for the fiscal third quarter is sales of 16 billion plus or minus 2%. That's about 29% above what analysts were expecting. And the way that executives on the call described it is they have visibility on AI demand going into the next fiscal year. CFO Colette Kress called it, quote, tremendous and broad-based AI demand. In the quarter gone, the fiscal second quarter, the data center sales really came in above expectations. HGX
I got the stop
was
loss
part
at
of that. Those are
74,
the server designs based on H100 or A100
78,
that they ship
40,
to hyperscalers.
78,
And there was a lot of demand
74.
from analysts on the calls basically asking for granularity. How can they be so confident that
That's
the
good.
hyperscalers will continue to invest in this
Got the
domain?
chance to
Jensen
stay
Clark put
in
it
a
like
trade.
this: there are two things happening in parallel. A willingness to invest in accelerated computing, but also the response that we've seen to generative AI and the compute needed to support that. In the supply side of the equation, NVIDIA does expect supply to increase in each quarter for the next year. They said that suppliers, namely TSMC, contract manufacturers, have really stepped up to meet the demand, particularly driven by AI. And finally, China. The executives addressed this head-on on the call amid reports that the US will boost export or technology export controls to China. In the near term, Colette Kress, the CFO, said that new restrictions would have no material effect. But long term, a new set of rules or long-term rules will result in a loss of opportunity for NVIDIA and other US chip names who want to be the leaders and the most competitive in the field of cutting-edge semiconductors. Ed Ludlow for Bloomberg News in San Francisco.
Now we're in the expensive area. Ugh.
For the European semiconductor space, you can see ASML gaining
25. I can try to short from here.
That they ship to the likes of TSMC and Samsung to actually crunch out the chips for the likes of Nvidia. Infineon also getting a return up 2.2%. ST Macro in France on the upside as well, up 2.5%.
No white candles, no one don't touch it yet. Because this is what they waiting for. They teasing me now to take the short and they will go long.
Take the short where?
No, I'm not taking any short. Just talking loud to myself.
Okay.
Don't worry.
But we're in the expensive area now. Oh my god. Okay. What the hell?
We just testing. Okay, you've got 17, which is expensive, and I wanna see what happened here.
I took some off at 17.
Needed there. Although it doesn't seem to be really off this morning. We're seeing a great deal of appetite for these tech stocks. Interesting though that they are warning about rules around China and export of technology to China.
35 and 40. Next one.
Not a huge drag, obviously, on the earnings, but it's interesting that in terms of those high-end GPOs, they're effectively frozen out from the Chinese market, at least at this point. Look, I know you've been pretty interested and fascinated by the wealth effect for Jensen Partners as well. What an amazing story. You found it stop in 1993. He was a niche gaming geek in terms of the chip world, and now he's front and center in terms of the revolution that is AI.
Yeah, absolutely. And he has taken this business from a business that was very much supplying the gaming sector to one that, yes, still does that, but does a whole lot more of something else. So 4 times as much revenue now coming from data centers as from gaming. That just shows the transformation that he has brought about to this business. And that has been very positive for his own personal wealth. At one point yesterday, Tom, his wealth, his own personal wealth was up by $4 billion US dollars. In one day. A little bit of that around towards the end, but his wealth at around $46 billion of high yesterday, and we are seeing to the point we started off on some impact on some of these European stocks this morning.
Yeah, so he's close now to one of the top 25 wealthiest people in the world. Just briefly checking back on those stocks then, the impact that we're seeing. We had a really positive session in Asia. The HS Tech was gaining about 3%.
Question is really what dollar will
the
do.
optimism towards this, 3.7% now, 3.8% for HS Tech. And here we're getting a lift as well, filtering through for the likes of BE Semiconductor Industries and ASM, also listed in the Netherlands, popping there a little over 7%.
Okay, let's bring back into the conversation Christina Aquino from the Markets Today blog. You could give us some thoughts on things that are moving. I mean, we talked quite a bit about the tech sector, Christine, and that's clearly the guiding force around these markets. Let me focus in on the UK, though, because I know we've been focused on how the rate story develops. Interesting headline across the Bloomberg terminal says that the traders are now pairing their Bank of England bets. They see less than a 1 in 2 chance of that 6% peak. And I guess this all comes back to the data of yesterday, the disappointment across Europe, the US, and the UK on that manufacturing and services, importantly, services data.
Absolutely, and yeah, it's very interesting as well. I think this speaks as well to the volatility that Tom was describing in the bond market, in the rates market earlier. Because just last week we saw these bets rocket up to 6% after the growth surprise out of the UK, as well as record wage growth, and now we're kind of pulling back to the other side of it. I mean, this is consistent. What we're seeing in rates and asset pricing, consistent with the message from the Bank of England that we got most recently, right? Which is you did get the sense that Governor Andrew Bailey and his colleagues really want to pause at this point in time.
Okay, I'm in shock.
Rocket
breakout?
much higher than we currently are, and there seems to be kind
Okay,
of
well, I'm getting out 100%. I'm gonna get out. Oh my God, at 400, I'm gonna put my stop there.
kind of responding to that, precipitated by, of course, the PMI data yesterday, as mentioned.
You know what? I'm gonna just get rid of.
Story. And the reason this is interesting, Christine, I suppose, is if we take a step back, one house builder in particular in the UK, Persimmon, the victim of a FTSE reshuffle, and I suppose it speaks volumes, doesn't it, about the difficulties that the housing market is facing, new builds in the UK facing because of planning rules, but also because of the higher mortgage rates.
Absolutely, and I mean, Persimmon, that was once the biggest house builder in the UK, and it really is the poster child for what we're seeing in terms of the housing slowdown here. And I think the key thing for this company in particular is reliance on first-time home buyers. It comprises about a third of its customer base, and that's really the sector in the housing market that's been hurt.
I'm gonna get out at 400. I moved my break even to 400.
Priced out of mortgages, it's been incredibly difficult to find supply as well, and so that combination of higher rates.
You got in short right now?
Yeah.
Housing, very much taking a
409.
customers, and Persimmon, as a result, is very much in danger of getting kicked out of FTSE.
I want to pivot a little from the localities of the UK and the real estate market here.
I really like that we're stalling here.
Central to, of course, the policy action. So I'm very negative on China, and I really think policymakers have a lot to blame, primarily President Xi Jinping, given the missteps in terms of policy making. But are they actually doing a fairly good job in terms of
With this trailing stuff, it's so annoying, but yeah, let's see.
And how do you tie that into broader effects?
Where's the trading stop at? 71? Nah, that's too far for me.
They're trying to tweak the margins, right, in terms of the support that they're giving the economy, because it seems like there's not a lot of real kind of do that bazooka sort of stimulus, and so yeah, they're turning to the currency as a way to do that.
Which means
Oh well,
break.
dang. That 4-hour close is right underneath 400.
Yeah, but this would be a good test. If we cannot go below, it means we are very bullish.
No, but
and ultimately still perhaps fail because just the momentum of the dollar against the yuan at the moment
in very much an opposite direction. And I see different analysis, some of it pointing to
Ooh la la, go
the
go.
desire by the PBOC to put a line in the sand, and others just talking about their desire to slow it. And I suppose that to manage that
downside.
that decline.
On that yield differential, it's
And
remarkable. The last time I checked, it was about 300 basis points.
testing 200 moving average, 1 minute is at the same level.
The Chinese to
And mid of the channel we've got there as well. So
that just talks to the
are
challenge
we
of trying to
dropping?
arrest this decline. Yield differential
Is so severe, yes, absolutely. Christine, thank you very much. Christine Aquino from the markets today blog joining us with the latest on some of the stories that they're covering on the blog. You can get to the blog, the front page of the Bloomberg UK website will take you there. Or you can type TLIB go onto the Bloomberg channel. Let's take a look at some of the events that we're following for you
Dollar
today and
is
tomorrow. In fact, it is the last day of the
going
Brits
for
meeting. We
it.
are expecting more final remarks. We have been poised, of course, for confirmation around whether Saudi Arabia is to be officially invited to join the BRICS grouping. At 12
No, we still have
we
to.
will get
Okay.
a rate decision from the Turkish central bank. Bloomberg Economics sees the MPC there continuing its path for a gradual rate hike. Stateside, we'll get July durable goods orders and initial jobless claims data. Both of those data sets are due at 1:30 p.m. UK time. And to wrap up the week, all eyes, of course, will be on Jackson Hole, apart from the ones that are still watching the tech story. And all of the other
Come on, NQ,
about
come
the
on.
Jackson Hole symposium. And that speech will be absolutely
That's it.
Yeah, also from Jackson Hole on Friday. Do not miss Bloomberg's exclusive interview with the ECB.
I open only 2 contracts,
Eastern time.
Hmm.
but the first TP I've got at 53,
Coming up, we're going to take a deeper dive into
which is
the
like
performance stock
55
as
points.
European chip makers tick up. More on that. This
If I will see that we're rejecting that, I will close it. But I really like what I see. Bearish divergent. Bulls couldn't hold the price there. And dollar it's skyrocketing.
Well, market structure flip bullish.
Value allow of the swing. Beautiful break that. Yes. Yes, yes. %. This will be the key level now. 50% of previous 4 hour, and last time that was a nice support area.
Mhm. So, where's the box for this one?
Ooh la la.
Oh my God.
That was nice entry. I love it.
Yeah.
2 contracts, 15, 1700 now. We will be testing view up. Ooh, my oil going lower too. That's good. Can gold join that short? Come on, NQ.
What is?
You can do it better. For previous day close, that will be amazing level to see.
Yesterday, 16 minutes into the Euro
Mm-hmm.
session. And you can see that European equity markets are gaining this morning, gaining pretty strongly over in Paris, up by just over 1%. Technology shares the best performer, but there are no sectors in negative territory actually across Europe today, so such is the risk appetite. Let's bring in Maria Benucci, multi-asset fund manager at Energy Investments. Maria, very nice to have you with us. So something has lit the fire under risk appetite. Technology is very clear to
Take
see
some
wanting to be
profits
NVIDIA
from
still the
gold
focus.
as
Some
well
good yield environment over the last
because
couple of days, adding to the mix as well. How
Oh
much
my God.
technical risk do you have in the wake of those NVIDIA numbers?
Well, I think there's been a lot of data this week that is influencing investors' behavior, and the behavior has been shifting throughout the week. I think what we're seeing in Nvidia is obviously very good news. It's affecting the behavior of investors on a more of a risk-on move from what we've seen in the past few weeks. Overall, the picture is one of caution for me from a multi-asset perspective when we think about risk-on, especially on the equity side. We continue to have a neutral exposure. And there are some risks ahead. We've seen with the PMIs release, the latest one being disappointing in Europe, but also weaker in the US than expectations were. So there are some risks ahead as the lag effects of monetary policy starts to come in the next few months. At the same time, we're seeing this positive news on the tech side that has certainly lifted the spirits in markets in recent days.
How can central banks continue to justify further hikes as you see the financial conditions tightening, as you see deflation coming from China, and as you see a breakdown of that macroeconomic data and inflation heading in the right direction, at least in Europe, at least in the US? How can they further justify
65.
more hikes? And or do you think they start to roll that back? Or
Okay.
they roll that back, do they start to
Dang it, dang it, dang it.
or do they set themselves up for a policy mistake?
I think what we're seeing from central banks in terms of messaging is the potential for higher for longer. So being able to maintain these higher rates that they've now achieved for a longer period of time to bring that
It's the bottom of the box.
So where does that take you in terms of position?
84.70.
What we've seen, in the last few weeks has been quite a lot of volatility in the fixed income market and in particular on treasuries. So we have seen a shift on the longer end of the curve, potentially a response of some worries around higher for longer, especially in the context of Jackson Hole and the theme of Jackson Hole being structural shift on the longer term. But at the same time, what we really have to keep a focus on is what the economy is doing, because so far we've seen it extremely resilient. We've seen a tight labor market still. PMIs are signaling some slowdown there, so there is some caution that has to be taken into regard.
Yes, and so in that regard, I wonder what's your focus when we hear from Jerome Powell at Jackson Hole? You talked there about some of the monetary policy lags, so how the Fed views those could be really of interest, and indeed what data dependence really means for the Fed right now. Which is the data? How are they dependent upon it? Because the market doesn't necessarily always understand exactly.
I guess it'll be wet with support, so it's going to come back up. Doesn't look like it's going to break it.
True, the one is green, still working as a support, but I really wanna see the 350 and then 330. Okay, we start to print the new trailing stops on the 3-minute, which is quite strong one. And I will take a 1 TP away probably.
But there is still some risks ahead that we need to
Yeah, I took 1 TP.
Maria, it's pretty decent moves in the bond markets this morning. UK gilts, you're seeing a 5 basis point move lower in yields on the 10-year 441, and a similar picture over in Germany, Italy as well. When it comes to the UK, the FTSE 100 has turned around in the last few days. Gilts
Yeah.
and they have been for the last
Okay.
2 days as well. Is this the turning point, do you think, for UK assets?
It's quite an interesting story in the UK because obviously what we've seen in bond markets has been quite an aggressive and volatile move in terms of yields. In the last few weeks, this has been actually, if you want to synchronize with some of the other moves that we've seen in the US, in Germany, but there is a case for the UK to be slightly different in terms of economics, in terms of inflation path that we have seen. The UK market per se is quite cheap, but there are also some risks ahead in investing in the equity space. So our approach is more on a selective
Let's see how strong the bulls are.
Yeah, we've heard that from a number of other guests.
Okay, the VIX, as I mentioned, dropped a lot. It's in very cheap, got a strong, so I wanna see actually VIX going higher, and
It's gonna go higher.
I hoping so.
Oh,
And the market dropping.
okay. Well, I'm done because I tried to get in short and I lost. I'm gonna get out because it's not dropping no more.
Where you try to go short?
I just flipped my trade. What I do the worst thing ever. If I would have stayed in my regular trade, in my long, I would have been fine.
You try to be emotional.
I don't like to get out of these trades. I want it to drop, but it's not going. It looks like it's gonna go back up, and
No,
I'm just gonna keep
no,
leaving.
not really. This is the value area high of the, sorry, low of the swing. We can go maybe to 405, and I don't think so we'll go any
Back up
higher.
to 405?
Yeah, why not?
No, hombre. That will take all my profits away. So I'll just cut it short here and
If we'll break the 87, then yeah, we'll go 400 or 405. And then I need to think about should
I don't even know how many trades I've done.
I done only two on NQ, both of them profitable. I closed the gold as well because look like they was really running the stop loss, so I closed in profit my short.
Well, I did micros right now, 5 micros, but along right now at the WMA.
You are long now.
Yeah, 391 at the WMA.
We're just testing the WMA, which is red. Okay, we got Provident buy. You're really flipping a lot. You need to just stop flipping so much the trades.
I'm gonna. Oh my god, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna put it at, let's see, 91. This will be my last trade on this is the funded account. That's why I was really hoping for.
Prove it continuation.
I should
That
have
was
stayed in my long.
yeah.
I got scared. I said it's dropping. It's past 70. I was okay on 70.
But we just barely passed 70.
I know, and that's when I flipped, and I just lost $400 for the profit.
Okay.
Okay, well I'm gonna put my I'm gonna it's gonna take me out at break even. Watch. What have I done?
Yeah, dollar
Oh, it's a
start
chop.
dropping. Dollar start
Can't
dropping.
trade
VIX
this.
as well going lower. So let's see. I think so. I
I'm
will
gonna stay at break even
close
at 15,391.75.
65. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if that was linked. That was an interesting development, wasn't it? How have the shares in UBS then been doing ever since this big drama on top of it?
Yeah, well, I think since they got rid of the backstop, they really given them a tear.
I wanna
I'm
see.
done with this one.
Why are they giving up?
Really interesting, isn't it? Because you could have seen the stock fall on that.
Yeah, exactly. But the way
Said it's a chop now. This is what I don't like. This is why I prefer just to get in one time and
Then walk away. Go sleep, wake up in the morning, and then you can try again. Don't try
oh my
to
god.
make the money back or recoup or whatever you thinking, because now you got emotional attached to the trades because you lost the money, you want to make it up.
Hmm.
And this is how people losing their accounts and money. I saw that the market start to go up, so I closed one of the contracts. Still, second one is on plus $5. The stop is at 08, and yeah, I'll
Look
be
at that, even
waiting.
the bullish. I want to take my stop off. Oh, there it's gone. Oh my God.
Difficult UK economic outlook. The CEO of Travel, joins us in conversation with
It's quite it's quite choppy because 200 moving average is flat and 36 going up and down around it, so yeah, we will be a bit choppy.
I'm wondering how much trail stop loss crap I lost because then um I want them to take away my account. That trailing max thing, I don't know what that is. I don't know how
You can check it
oh,
on Rhythmic. Ah, because you're not connected to it, so we don't know what's your on the Rhythmic showing it. I don't know how to check on Top Step. Usually, what I doing, I just noting when I am in a trade and I think how much I am in profit and what's profit I losing. It's quite important to keep it this way, so you make some notes.
I don't know. Okay, it says select columns. Auto liquid level, auto liquid started, auto liquid stop, cash, day margin, day distribution, distribution to daily loss limit, distribution to liquidity only, dollar drawdown, auto level. That one?
I'm not sure. I really don't know how this showing on the trade of it. I know how I was checking it on a Rhythmic. Uh, yeah,
Distribution.
come on, Vix, wake up. Alexa, stop.
I should have stayed in my long.
We are below the previous 4 hour close, so
Mm-hmm.
and below the Adam level, and we are struggling here.
We went.
So I am happy with my short, which is above it. For now, the short got more sense because we need to retrace some of the money. They need to go grab some liquidity lower. And oh, okay, this wasn't very strong. Support
So I'm saying I should have stayed in my long.
220.
I got scared because it passed 70.
markets today, 30 minutes into your European trading day here on your top stories. European chip makers jump after Nvidia's global forecast amid strong demand for AI. Gas prices slump as Australia's biggest liquefied natural gas export plant appears to have settled a labour dispute, avoiding strikes. Plus, Russia says the Wagner mercenary chief Yevgeny
Alexa, play Bloomberg.
launching
No,
Bloomberg
no,
Europe.
I was talking to Alexa because she just got quiet.
Oh, we got a bullish continuation. Yeah.
Yeah, Ooh la la, I love
almost
it.
2% gain for that sector. And of course, technology not far behind, getting 1.3% with the read across from Nvidia coming through. On ASML.
We went up to 403, like you said.
Basic resources, as copper and iron ore prices are coming off. Warnings again around the risks from the trust sector over in China. Basic resources currently down a tenth of
I kind of want to go in long, but no, I can't because I don't know how many trades I've done.
the dollar not moving much.
So I've got only one contract left, and I am break even plus $5, and my TP is at 304. But if we go there, I will be retailing it down.
In early trading, a couple of them over in Amsterdam, ASM and also Bezi as well, BESI, those ones the biggest gains there. Nordic Semi ticking up around 2%. We did have a profit warning from that firm a while ago, so there are some individual stock stories for these firms, but I've just seen Deutsche Bank's note landing in my inbox, and they describe it as a stunning quarter for Nvidia, and note that the firm's data center revenue is almost double some of its biggest rivals, and that should feed through into some of these European and also Asian peers, according to analysts. So they were seeing their ASM over in Amsterdam up more than 7%, a huge gain. The European tech index did decline around 10% from the highs over the summer, so there is upside to make up some ground and start heading back towards the highs that we saw a few months ago. But widespread green in the tech sector today, feeding through into other sectors as well. I think we're also going to look at a couple of other individual stories away from tech. So we had in stocks to watch Boeing announcing that they're reviewing their production target due to some issues with some components given to them by a supplier, which reportedly had holes in them. And that is potentially a positive for Airbus, the big rival. Airbus also gets an order over from Qantas, according to our airlines team here at Bloomberg. They're reporting a deal potentially around 12 Airbus jets. Hayes is the UK recruiter. That one down today after they report weakness in the UK staffing market. A lot of that is in the temp staffing industry, and they say that could affect their earnings. They've got a new CEO who may also be looking to do a bit of a turnaround, but that one dropping. The biggest gainer in the UK is Lion Trust Asset Management. Now, GAM has announced that Lion Trust business offer for that firm has failed, so not enough Lion Trust shareholders backed the deal for GAM. And a trader told me in the IB today that this is good news for Lion Trust because there wasn't enough faith that Lion Trust would be able to turn around GAM. There was too much of a risk. That stock rising around 14%. The biggest gainer in terms of the stock 600 wider Europe is over in allergies. Alcabello recording a strong allergy season and up around 10%.
Joe, thank you very much. Thanks for the briefing. Joe Eason from our equity team with some of the stocks on the move. Another sector that's very much in focus is the Italian banking sector. Just a few headlines coming through there. A red headline, of course, the Bloomberg terminal alerted us to this story. Italy is readying some new rules around bad loans in a new development that could be seen as not in investors' favour. So the Italian government is pushing to approve a borrower-friendly measure on bad loans by the end of the year. This is part of Prime Minister George Maloney's drive to help troubled families, the ones who are in debt, to try and help them to pay back those loans at more favourable rates. And so as a result, this being seen as bad news for the banking sector. Although looking at the banking sector today, it seems that the risk appetite, the broader, strong risk appetite story that we're seeing coming through from the tech sector and the lower.
I'm worried that I got that trail lost in.
If you will lose it, they will close the automatically account, so you didn't lost it yet.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Like, they won't do it till tomorrow?
No, they will do it automatically.
Okay, I'm like, that's what I was worried about. That's what I'm worried about.
The UK hotel operators performance in the first half reflects strong customer demand and a return to face-to-face business networking. But with data out this week suggesting the UK services sector could now be in contraction, and with mortgage paying set to take hold, how will consumer-facing businesses cope? Let's put all of that together with the Travelodge CEO Joe Boydell, who obviously joins us on set here in London. Joe, very nice to have you with us. So on the earnings story, record profits in the first half.
Minus 13.
1 second, success. What are you doing?
I'm going to Boots. Do you want anything?
Yeah, something from Sumatra.
You have some. It's very thick.
Good, maybe day and night.
Day and night.
I will.
Or do short breaks. And from a business perspective, we also have a really diverse customer mix. Right the way through from tradespeople, so contractors working away from home, through to business executives, conducting meetings and trade fairs.
Great. It's driven by both. Sorry, I was just going to ask, following on that point from Anna, which part of those two looks stronger in the months ahead? Does business take the lead? And tying into that, are you benefiting from people trading down, from maybe cancelling bookings at higher price hotels and heading to your
It's look like I will be walking away from the PC shortly, because there is not too much
On my
open
other
there.
account, I'm going to take profit at 417.75, which is the high on the 150K one. That's just a regular. See if it goes back up there.
Story on the cost side, you don't own your own hotel, so you have long leases, which means you've got rental costs. Is that
Do we still have the bullish trail stop
Yeah,
printed
weeks, months, years
that's
out there, it's a
right.
great environment.
And we've got
at
here a
71.7?
bearish reversal line. So I would like to see
What
the
does that
price.
mean?
I would like to see the price going below it and still printing, so we will be going lower. If we're staying above the bearish reversal line, it means we are bullish, and so far we cannot cross it.
Oh, the midpoint, right? The structure channel midpoint?
Bearish reversal line is at the same level where is the structural midpoint. Actually, structural midpoint is higher. It's at
Yeah, it's higher.
93, and we are below it, which is
I
very
don't have,
nice.
I don't have any bearish printed.
It's different settings. I can show you that later on.
Okay.
It's the reversal line. It's not the trailing stop.
But when it says bullish reversal line, that means that's to go in long, right?
Uh, Not for me, because I am contrarian and I always was treating them different way, and then we decided to change colors on them. So for me now this is on 15 minutes and it's showing that if the bears will manage to cross this and stay below, then my trade down, it will happen.
The labour mix that you might have had beforehand, wondering how that's changed. So post-Brexit,
That line you're considering it a bearish move to go short?
no, it's certainly not easy, but we stand up.
Not to jump. I wouldn't open the trade because of it or anything like that. Because I am in a trade, it's good for me to see that, and it'll be much better if you can cross it. So far, we cannot cross it, so that's not the best. It looks like everything found a bit of the support.
They might want to sell the business at some time. What can you tell us? What update can you give us on that front? We're certainly right. Golden Tree consolidated their ownership at the back end of last year and earlier this year, and really exits probably
Quite aggressive move down
is that there's no current exit process.
below the POC, and the POC from yesterday it's there. So just go and test it, because POC of yesterday or from NQ is quite far away.
So we've seen and done a survey, and there are about 300 additional locations where we would want a Travelodge hotel. Certainly that development piece is a bit harder at the moment in terms of availability of finance and build costs, but we'll open 7 hotels this year, and we hope to get to normal levels of 15 to 20 hotels a year once those conditions improve.
Okay, Joe, thank you very much for joining us on set to talk through those results and the future plans for Travelodge. The CEO, of course, Joe.
Below the session view updates, good.
To the CEO of Rolls, Africa's leading provider of electric vehicles. Stay with us. This is Brief Time.
before.
Okay, alright. Just close. A lot of liquidity, very nice. $195. Okay.
Mm, 54 maybe.
Quite strong bullish move. Everything is stuck. It's really oil stop moving, gold as well is stuck at the same area.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure coming in with these points. So we're obviously an electric mobility provider. We build motorcycles and buses for the market. We strongly believe that climate change is solvable. The technology does exist. It just needs to be packaged in the right product. And design a motorcycle that can be used in East Africa. It's designed to be cheaper, to be reliable, to be accessible for everyone. And make sure that we can combat climate change, solve our emissions as much as we can.
Okay, I'm back.
So, good morning. So, your design, your business is based around design in
Okay, here I
Sweden,
got
built in
them
Nigeria,
trade.
and in Italy. Why does that make sense for a business such as that?
Well, so we most of the time we'd say born in Sweden, built in Kenya. So we actually have most of our product development here in Kenya because we believe in being close to where the product is being used, and that's the only thing that makes sense. We are using and leveraging a lot of Swedish technologies when it comes to electromobility, but we have continued to develop here on site, and we want to make sure that we can not only design a vehicle here for the local use case, but that we can also build a vehicle here for the local use case. So the factory that you see behind me is our electric motorcycle assembly plant in Nairobi, where we not only assemble motorcycles for the local market, but we also provide a lot of work opportunities.
Philip, you're hoping you've got an ambition to build what 50,000 electric motorbikes annually from that factory behind you. What's the biggest challenge? Is it creating demand or is it meeting that demand?
370.
No, it's meeting demand. At this point, it's only about building motorcycles vehicles. We're just trying to build as many as possible, as quickly as possible, because the demand is strong. It's a simple equation. You save money by using electric vehicles. We're at a completely different point today compared to 10 years ago when it comes to electric vehicles. What we can do,
Continuation. I need to remember, I mean, honestly, in the very beginning, when I was making money or making and all that stuff, it was the market structure that was helping me. And as long as that was printed, I went off that. And I entered basically where it would say market structure bullish reversal line 1 or 2. I would get in on that.
Mm-hmm.
well, I mean, it's amazing
And I haven't
to
been doing that
to
lately.
see that all the hard work that everyone at this company is putting forward is actually yielding results and therefore being recognized. I do think that the most important thing is that it can inspire some
Then I
people
wouldn't get out of my trade
I do think that
as long as that
the
was
most important
printed.
thing
And
is
since
to
I entered at 25,
right now is to
you know,
make the change
I
to
had
the
already
system.
lost
So I mean,
all that profit, but
seeing a couple of
as long
companies
as that was printed, I would stay in the trade. That's why I have stayed in so long. But I really did get scared. I was like, oh my God, it passed the 70, but it barely passed 70. It went to 67.25, and then that's when I got out. I got out at 75.
Philip, how are Yamaha responding to
You
this?
can see
Is
how
this
much
building out their
resistance is on NQ.
knocking on your
This is why we cannot go any
potential
higher. But Dow got a lot of support here, much more than NQ. So yeah, let's let them play. We are on a POC, which is area which we shouldn't take any trades.
And I'm gonna put a stop at $5. I'm gonna take a loss of $65 to
Ooh,
one micro.
okay. Gold decide to go lower. That's nice. Shame that I'm not with it, but that's okay.
Coming up, Wagner-Chief Yevgeny Prigozhin is presumed dead. Russian media say he died in a plane crash. We'll bring you the details next.
But now we're at the bottom of the box of London.
Gold. Hmm, that was truly nice entry from my side. I just couldn't stay in it. Okay, so VIX, can you go higher? You got trading stop, you are below 200, above 36. How long will we be playing here?
It's a chop.
Hmm.
I don't do well with chops at all.
Like most of the people, when you get the job, you need to, if you know you're not doing well, just don't open the trades. Where mark the area where is the chop, and don't trade in this area.
Well, I guess I'm gonna lose $65 because it's just
It's
coming
better
down.
to lose $65 than lose much more.
I was hoping it was gonna stay above the box. So now the trail stops moved to 57.75. Okay, that just confused me.
57, 357. 357, yeah. Okay.
No, it dropped to 57 and then now it just popped back up.
Yep. So it's showing that the bulls they got some strength.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't break it there. We're still printing it. We're printing it from Frankfurt session.
Mm-hmm.
This is markets today, 52 minutes into the European trading day, and European stocks are higher, technology lower yields, all of that adding to better risk appetite it seems. In this morning's
See,
trading
look at
session, we were less rate from
it
that
has it at
still the weak sectors of the index side. The
15357.25.
Mm-hmm.
leaders have been tasked by officials to explore the use of local currencies. That's what we thought was going to be a lot of the focus of this event. We've had confirmation of that. We see that the Brazilian president is currently addressing the group. We have just heard, though, from the South African president, who has been unveiling some of the other details, including that the BRICS have agreed to invite Saudi Arabia, Iran, the UAE to join the bloc. They're also inviting Ethiopia, Argentina,
We're on a POC, so it's really not
there's a lot of talk going on here, a lot of excitement.
the best area to sit in the trades. Okay, just drop below.
Best area what?
We are okay. We was on a POC. We just drop a little bit below the POC, so it's not the best area to take any trades. You can just sit and
Mm-hmm.
wait here.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of new letters to get in there. If they all say yes,
Look,
yes.
Giorgio, who obviously crafted came up with the acronym
You
for
see, I'm just upset I closed my gold trade so early because it's going lower, but oil is still open.
Saudi Arabia, also Iran and the UAE, and they're looking maybe at inviting Ethiopia. They are inviting Ethiopia and Argentina. And
This one I
sanctions
just
from Germany.
keeping as it is.
Okay, so the focus, certainly of the Russian foreign minister, he's been present in Johannesburg for this event. The focus, President Vladimir Putin of Russia is elsewhere. Perhaps the man who launched a failed mutiny against Vladimir Putin, Yevgeny Prigozhin, is presumed dead. Russia's aviation authorities say he was in a plane crash northwest of Moscow that killed all 10 on board. A warning that the video we're about to show is pretty graphic. This unverified video comes from the Russian media outlet TASS. Prigozhin led an aborted mutiny in June against President Vladimir Putin, the biggest threat to his almost quarter-century rule. No cause has been given for the crash. Bloomberg's Maria today with us once again, so quite a lot of opacity, a lot of things we don't obviously have full details on yet as to what happened here, Maria. What do we know?
And Anna, what are the optics coming out of this BRICS summit? Because you have Vladimir Putin is not able to go in person because of this arrest warrant. You have the foreign minister and the news that Prigozhin is dead this morning. I am sure. I mean, to be a fly on the wall of this
Okay,
summit,
so
that
gold
this
break the
isn't the
bullish
optics of
channel.
Russia now. You try to conceive the idea that the BRICS could even be expanded in this context as surprise not
to Saudi Arabia within the US and his linkages to an assassination, of course. Intriguing.
Absolutely. The optics out of the summit are quite interesting, to say the least. Now, going back to your question, Anna, of course, well, we had the news yesterday, which initially was reported as a plane crash. Just that a private jet has been reported, and the Russian Aviation Authority got news of that. It's only after that a list of people is presumably inside this plane gets released, and Prigozhin features in it. Anna, the cause for this plane crash has not been revealed. It is understood there is some kind of investigation that will take place. The black box, you would assume, would provide some details of that, but that black box that we know has not appeared yet. When you look at the way that this has been covered in the Russian media, it's very short, very sober, just a flight crash, and Prigozhin happened to be inside. Obviously, he had connections, both personal, because he's from St. Petersburg, and business deals in Moscow, doing this back and forth in a private jet. He was a wealthy, rich individual, but when you look at the crowning itself, no official comment from this, and a lot of, I would say, questions still pending.
Miriam, you visited, you've only been on the ground there, your wife very well sourced. Does it change the news on the ground?
Oh man.
Look, for the Ukrainians, it's the action fight. What they say is that for a whole year, there has been a
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
for the heavy fighting in Ukraine, and actually
Oh,
that the Russian army. If you look at Prigozhin presumed that today, in a very blunt way, it would seem that it's the Russian army that has won this power power struggle. The Ukrainians say on the ground is probably not going to change much politically. They do say, look, there was a deal that he would go to Belarus and stay alive. 2 months later, he's dead. And these are the same people that we're supposed to get around the table and negotiate peace with. It makes it very, very difficult. No reaction from the European Union and the U.S. Well, the President of the United States said, well, I'm not, quote, surprised that this happened.
Maria, today, thank you very much indeed. European equities up 0.7%. US futures in positive territory, gaining 0.6%.
Two, 5, 6.
And the rest of the team, of course, on the Bloomberg, the UK website by Token T Live. Joe on the terminal. The Pulse is up next. This is Bloomberg.
Okay, so that's 1. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I've had 17 executions.
Because as well on TPT they counting how many you can have until 50. That's right.
Right. I'm trying to make sure I didn't go over. So I had 18 fills, but it doesn't matter about that. It matters about, like, I bought 20, I sold 5, I sold 1, I sold 14. So that trade alone was 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 executions.
Come on, girl, you're going now short. Let's see.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to make sure. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 14. That covers that. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 8, 9. Oh, just kidding. I had 18, 18. 19, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
Good morning and welcome to the Pulse. I'm Manus Cranny in Dubai. Here's what's coming up on today's program. Stocks and European chip makers rally after a bullish sales outlook from Nvidia comes in well above the expectations. Strong demand for AI will bring you the pre-market moves in just a moment. Russia says the Wagner mercenary chief Evgeny Prigozhin was aboard a private jet that crashed, killing everyone on board. We bring you the updates through the morning.
Okay, so why
Plus, a red
MPOC
flag
of
warning for the
yesterday?
UK
It's
economy,
really not
sponsored by
far.
Economics. We'll discuss with the CEOs of Standard Chartered UK and Pret a Manger. Let's take a look at that map. It looks as if Goldilocks for equities has been given the kiss of life by the fairy dust
from NVIDIA. There you go. We've got a roaring equity market here. It is driven ultimately by the excitement on NVIDIA and also maybe a change in narrative from some of the central banks and Jackson Hole as they see the PMIs running out of puff. The Nasdaq futures bottom of your screen up 1.5%. Real estate and finance and tech all drive higher in European complex this morning. Technology is up 1.25%. ASM, you've got a couple of other major tech players on the up this morning.
Okay, well,
So
and
that
you wake
is
up.
the real narrative.
Yeah, I see that.
We will still see indicators coming through from very
Oh my
fresh print
goodness.
on NVIDIA. Let's just double check that that is a fresh print on the pre-market. This is barnstorming. We're adding over $70 billion in this pre-market move. By the way, NVIDIA is a high beta correlation to the bond market as NVIDIA comes
There was
higher.
a long
So the
building of
volumes
the
really take
orders.
a breath.
Oh my goodness.
The
I should have stayed in my
narrative
trade.
now I'm much more optimistic. They were the only research
I shouldn't have
on the
flipped.
sell side. Now let's move
I
back over to
panicked
Italy because there is breaking news from Italy this
terribly.
hour. This is it. The Italian government, we're readying ourselves for a bad loan. How do you treat bad loans in Italy? I was looking up the Bank of Italy news flow in terms of the size of bad
Look at that
loans
huge,
there. They are
huge
46
candle.
billion euros of bad loans. Now, you may ask yourself, just a couple of weeks ago, the 8th of August, on auspicious date, it was my birthday, the windfall tax was announced, 40% on profits. Market cap of some of these equities tanked by over 10 billion euros on a 2 billion euro.
I'm out.
Banks this morning
Okay.
0.7%. Let's see what the Maloney government comes out with in terms of how to deal with bad loans across the asset flow. This is what we've got for you. It looks like the risk of strikes are receding.
It's gonna come
Shortly, an offer has been, we understand, put on the table. So natural gas is important for us on the energy complex.
GRK stop at 5. His is at 519. He put a limit. Put a limit take profit. That's what he told me. Just take. He said, just put it at 519. I'm going to bed, and it's gonna hit. And I was like, and I had it there, but I've been panicking every time it comes down. I would have been 28.88. I only ended up getting. I only ended up getting 16.
Paul Dobson hasn't got a Stetson, but he's got more on NVIDIA. Paul, good day to you. How are you doing? These numbers are all about in the yonder, forward looking, and there's no.
I gave away. 1,212 is what I didn't.
Look, we're seeing
I
quarterly profit
didn't
that's
take.
almost as big as the full year for 2021. So that tells you the pace of growth that NVIDIA is seeing here. Very impressive
Sandra.
figures across the board that the market is clearly really loving. And it's not just lifting the company itself, but it's lifting everything that's AI related along with it, and also the chip makers. That's what we've seen across the Asia Day too. So kind of contributing to big gains for the Nasdaq futures as well. I guess if you were looking for one sort of wrinkle or negative or fly in the ointment, maybe you might look at that buyback decision. Why does the company need to buy back its shares when the valuations are already sky high? Can't it do something better with this money? But even then, kind of the outlook is already bright and rosy, and the pipeline is looking good. So perhaps it feels like this is the best use of that money right now.
Well, we will take that any day. I bet you the staff over at NVIDIA are happy campers with their share options for a buyback and pumping Paul Dobson on the railways from NVIDIA. Now, the man who launched a failed mutiny against Vladimir Putin, Evgeny Prigozhin, is presumed dead. Russia's aviation authorities say that the plane that he was on crashed in the northwest of Moscow. That killed all 10 aboard. A warning, the video that you're about to see is quite graphic. This is unverified video. It comes from the Russian media, and the task Prigozhin led the water mutiny in June against President Vladimir Putin. The biggest threat to his almost a quarter century rule. No pause has been given for this crash. Let's get Maria Tadeo into the story. Maria, what details
do we have? Do we have absolute confirmation Prigozhin was aboard? His deputy, we understand, is also speculated to be on board there as well. Maria, good morning.
Well, yes, Magnus, good morning. And we know this hour, we have to go back to yesterday afternoon where the Russian aviation authority sent out an alert about a plane crash going from Moscow to St. Petersburg, and then that is followed up by the Russian aviation authority saying that among the passengers on this plane,
Dollar
over
is
10
fighting
people
now.
aboard is Prigozhin. This is happening almost 2 months to the date from that insurrection, that attempted coup, that march on Moscow led by Prigozhin. Now, the reasons for this accident, this incident, however you want to call it, because it is unclear what prompted this crash. It is unclear. An investigation will presumably take place, but the black box has not been found. Now, we should also note that the Kremlin has not commented on this officially. I should point, however, without getting into too much speculation, that it is not a secret that there was a real question about the fate of this man because of the insurrection. There is a track record now of individuals that have criticized, and critics of Vladimir Putin have found themselves in mysterious situations where they were either injured or dead. And I should also note, Magnus, in the global picture here, this is happening on the day where the BRICS summit is also taking place. The optics of this summit, interesting, because remember, Vladimir Putin was not able to go to South Africa because of that international arrest warrant. There is the foreign minister, and of course, this morning, the news that Prigozhin appears to be dead. So managed to be a fly on the wall of the summit.
Yes, and they're going for full max expansion, aren't they? And we'll hear more on that with James Abdusajah in just a moment. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and a number of other nations invited in here today on the plane crash with Prigozhin presumed dead. But the leaders of the BRICS summit, as I just said, have agreed to invite Saudi, Iran, and the UAE into
Dollar really dropping, nice.
It's an interesting expansion. We alluded that Saudi may well join Jen.
So
But
yeah, you
this
took
seems
my
to be
stop
a
loss.
church for all. Xi Jinping speaking
Not
at the
now.
event. Tell us more.
Yeah, Magnus, and I know you and I both spoke to Jim Rael yesterday. He was in Saudi with the
I'm a
official
huge
guests.
candle
He was
now.
added to the block. What we just heard, the
Mm-hmm.
leaders still speaking upstairs right now, is that it's not just going to be Saudi, as you mentioned, or the UAE. It's 6 countries, and it went from 4 to 6 countries overnight. So what we heard is Ethiopia, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, and Egypt all being added to the BRICS bloc. And what we heard from Cyril Ramaphosa is that they will be received as members beginning in January of 2024. Each of the leaders right now is really speaking about the relationship that their own individual countries have with these new BRICS members, to these BRICS members. The future of multilateralism
371.
looking like. So this is a very significant development, really what we were waiting for. And the leaders are still speaking right now about other outcomes of this summit. What we did hear from Cyril Ramaphosa is that any declaration on the joint currency, there was a lot of talk about that leading up into this summit.
Nice
Leaders have
ranging
tasked
area.
the finance ministers and central banks of their countries to talk about
371.
this and to make this a priority for next year's summit, not necessarily on the agenda or in this final declaration, but these 6 countries have officially been confirmed as being invited to the BRICS bloc.
Of course, it's going to be interesting to see how much they contribute towards the new development bank. That's going to be the lender to BRICS. Jen, thank you very much. Jen Zabzadja there in Johannesburg. We're coming up on the show. Lackluster PMIs. I gave you an hour back yesterday. Treasury yields we go to the next catalyst after some aggressive and softer expected data. Right here on Bloomberg.
We got a TP.
Mm-hmm. Breakout is a fake out. Does dollar wanna go higher?
Conversations that matter, the insights that you need. Right now, the market's
376.
trading in Dubai. Treasury yields a little change this morning after falling from the multi-year highs yesterday on the softer than expected US PMI data for August, and European and UK all pressing on the market. That echoes underwhelming data, as I say. This is my guess. International CIO, fixed income, JP Morgan Asset Management, and I'm looking at the not just the soft data from the PMIs, which many people can debate. I'm looking at inflation expectations for the US and Europe. And this is what I want to get your sense. Is the roll down in inflation expectations sufficient for Lagarde and Powell to justify and stand up a really strong falls narrative? Good morning.
Good morning. And yeah, I think it is. I think when you look at what both Jerome Powell and Ms. Christine Lagarde have been saying, they're going to be looking at the data, and the data yesterday, the growth stat was disappointing for them, and they will see that the inflation is likely to be continued to roll down throughout the later stage of this year into next year. So they've done a lot. They've hiked an awful amount, as we know, at such a rapid pace, and they're going to sit back, I believe, and say, we know there's going to be lagged impacts. We don't quite know exactly what those lagged impacts are going to be, how long they're going to take. So it makes sense for us to take a pause here, reassess, and then see over the coming months what the implications are for everything that we've done so far.
Well, Eddie Donny believes that the bond vigilantes are saddling up and have been reawakened. The data, however, may reduce that argument. Has the last train to jump on board solid duration left the station?
It did feel a very unloved market for a fixed income investor over the last few weeks or so. But we've been saying for a while that the lagged impacts were likely to be coming through. And it feels to me that we've got, for those people that have missed the bond rally earlier in the year and felt that they hadn't managed to get in, it just feels like another opportunity to come back in.
Was that me?
Because we know that once you get to the peak in terminal rates from the Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank, bonds typically do very well after that. If you look over history over the last 7 Fed hiking cycles, post the final hike, bonds do very well, significantly outperforming cash. So it does feel like we've had a little bit of reprieve. People who did miss the bond market rally earlier this year, they've got that chance to get back in.
The debate, and I like the fact that you bring up, I mean, I'm not a mathematician and I do not have a PhD, and I'm not going to even attempt to define what the OR star rate is, but yourself and Bill W are better qualified than I am. It's interesting. He says, get ready for higher rates. He has a view that, and this is his math, by the way, which is that the OR star, the neutral rate will be 1%, the average term. Inflation to 0.5% term free, 1% gets me to a 4.5%. The OR star neutral rate. I don't have a PhD, right? I think that's very low at 1%. What do you say?
I think this is an environment where we don't know, and I think that's what Jerome Powell is going to say tomorrow. I think he's going to play a fairly straight bat. He's going to be saying, but actually we just don't know. He said that over the last few months or so, and the reality is the Federal Reserve and other central banks around the world believe they are now in restrictive territory. They now think they.
My stop loss, I had put it back so far, but it moved up after 20 points to break even.
Okay.
Oh, I got taken out at break even. I was over here waiting to lose. Stupid.
I'll just wait
370.
for like another 10 minutes and it look like it's not happening anything for the next few hours. Yeah, we got today an hour before the market news, so I will try to come back for that.
the Bank of Japan? Do you think they're channeling their
Yeah.
inner game plan? I mean, you've had this UA
Yeah.
shock, but it really has
On the other demo
revealed
account, I had went
this.
ahead and
Is that a tail risk that we have yet to
have
truly
the take
understand?
profit
The
at 419, like he said. So
Mhm.
significant removal of
I'm gonna be upset if it hits it, and because I should have just left it, but whatever.
is that a 2024 material risk in your view? I think it is a bit of a risk. I've actually been slightly surprised that we haven't seen a
When you
bigger
say news, what news are you talking about?
Unemployment claims.
Oh, is that me? Like I can't be in that?
I think so. Can you check it? But I believe so, yes.
FOMC?
It's not FMOC, it's unemployment claims.
One of the many, the laundry list of reasons that we can probably explain as to why fixed income yields have moved.
Okay, so if I go to take profit,
But I do think we should be keeping an
where
eye on it,
does
because
it
I
show
do
that?
look at where Japan is, where inflation
Okay,
is
all right.
in Japan at the moment, and think their policy is incorrect and that they need to shift it. It's just
Uh, okay, well, I'm not in the pro account. It says the trader is not allowed to trade during
disruption for central
whatever.
bankers is a field with
FOMC minutes.
have been slain. Ian Steely there with me on
Okay, no open positions or orders 1 minute before, during, or after news events that follow. FOMC meetings, non-farm payroll,
punchy debate.
Yeah.
and
So,
CPI.
so we need to close it
When does it come out?
an hour before open of the market.
Oh, but that is the New York session.
Yes.
So 7:30?
Your time, yes.
Okay. That sucks.
Okay, they will try to go to 30 now.
Hmm?
It looks like they will try to go to 30.
4:30?
Yes. I hope so.
How do you see that? How do you see that?
Because we keep stalling at this area and 200 is holding us. So I would like to see them try to make this a bit higher move. That looks interesting on a gold. Each time I buy the gold, it's telling me no.
Mm. Um, okay. 954 minus.
I'm not going to send troops to Ukraine, but I am going to send them to our southern border. When these pushers are bringing fentanyl across the border, that's going to be the last thing they do. We're going to use force and we're going to leave it stone cold. Joe Biden's Bidenomics has led to the loss of $10,000 of spending power for the average family. When you see 16% inflation, your gas is up 40%, your food is up 20%, your electricity is up 20%. We can stop that by turning the
Adam said there we go. Oh my God. 15270?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the GOP candidates
This is
there
what
are
I
debating
thinking.
their walkie overnight. Let's bring in Derek Warbank.
Think it's gonna go there today?
The first GOP debate
That will be interesting.
who was obviously up on that, was 8 on
Oh.
the podium last night. Who stood out for you? The biggest topic?
Well,
Well, I tell you, the biggest thing for me at this point is you had
394.25. I could have got in at 394.25.
Okay, another
Look at that
breakout
bullet.
X. And what we doing with this breakout X? Showing that we are choppy. Dollar will
Yeah.
need to really drop lower for the market to make some reaction.
Let's call it a third, maybe tied second position right now. And he was the target of the ire from people like former Vice President Mike Pence, from Nikki Haley, from Chris Christie, sort of more aiming at him almost as much as they aimed at Joe Biden. Ramaswamy got in a lot of what he wanted to say. He came off reasonably well, I thought, actually. He's somebody who is sort of in the mold of Ben Carson, Andrew Yang, Pete Buttigieg, little-known folks who come onto a presidential stage.
Okay, look like oil wake up. Going for my
Who?
stop loss. Oil. It was nice
Okay.
shot and then going lower now. Higher, sorry.
I do think Haley acquitted herself out pretty well. I think a lot of the things that you're looking for at this point, if you're in that 3-4 percentage point band, is you're trying to get people to take another look at your campaign. I think she certainly did that. So I'd say Haley Ramaswamy probably feeling a little bit better than the others coming out of this debate, but it's really early. I mean, it's really, really early here. We've got a long way to go.
It's green now.
Is Joe Biden advanced because from here the standards to go into the next
392.86.
tighter.
Could have got in at 392.75.
Certainly, as you say, it's a heck of a road between here and the next moment. And of course, Trump did not show up for that debate.
367.75.
Online with Hannity. So quite a viewing. Derek, thank you very much. That's World Bank Barbados on the first major debate for the Republican Party.
That's what's gonna make that news is what's gonna make this go higher.
8.25%. You know, the last analyst to throw in the towel was Morningstar. They're now much more optimistic on the stock. You got
Or drop to the level which Adam mentioned. This is like we let the POC quite yesterday POC quite far away, so it'd be nice to go back there.
CEO for the UK joins me, the regional head, Saif Malik, and the CEO of Pret-a-Manger, Pano Christo, joins me for Bloomberg UK in just a moment on Bloomberg.
Dollar VIX they showing the long should work, but we're not going anywhere.
Calendar. What would this be called? Like it's called a federal or
It's called unemployment claims, so don't know what you mean federal by
like
federal.
because it's CP. Like I wanted to get print out the calendar.
Well, it's on the forex calendar, as you can see. I will show you. Thank you, man. In a calendar, it's showing.
Where's that at?
It's here. Unemployment claims.
Okay. It doesn't say.
Już zaraz kończę. Below 36, above 200, 36 green, 200 red. Choppy like.
Yeah. Ugly.
VIX going lower, MQ going lower.
Today is the 24th. And what is a GBP? CBI realized sales. So then I can't be in the market at that time.
No, you can be. This is the Great Britain. You only where it's a USD, you cannot be an.
Okay. So all these other ones don't matter to me?
For today, I think so. They don't matter to you. FMOC. I don't know how is a member speakers. Can you be in a trade or not? You will need to check that because this one I'm not sure.
It has FOMC, but I don't know. I wouldn't. It just said here, please note that you can check all upcoming news events on forexfactory.com, and that's where I went.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming no, because it has those at 8:30, 10:30, and 12 p.m. Well, natural gas doesn't apply to me because I don't trade gas.
Yeah. Oil going up. You'll take my stop loss. That's not nice. Had a nice run down. Took some profits.
But the real house of cards came at the short end of the curve in the gilt market. PMI below 50 was a red flag. Mild recession on the way down, paying the yields, and they career lower again this morning, 4.93. You are sub 5% for the first time since August the 11th, and this is about the PMIs. It's time to reconsider how much more the Bank of England can really do when it comes to that. Traders are now betting 28 basis points of hikes next month, down from 5.9% peak in March of next year. And that was up over the 6% rate. So 6% is gone. We're reevaluating and re-estimating where peak rates are in the UK. How tough is it out there? One man that can give us an insight into that. Save Malik, CEO of Standard Chartered UK, head of client coverage there, and in your site. Good to see you this morning. I paint a big picture. The house of cards on the pound and rates comes down. But how would you describe risk-taking and business sentiment from the customers
Each breakout is a fake
in
out.
the UK to the rest of the world?
Good morning, Madison. Thank you for that rousing
You can see
introduction.
that there is really no bulls now. Serge the scalper not showing
We saw
any
some
bulls.
difficult news that came out yesterday, but I think there is some positive shoots there that if you look at on a quarter-on-quarter growth,
ATR.
the
It's
UK economy did grow
5.3 and we
2%.
just chopping.
And
That's
you know, that
strange.
did show some good sentiment. And even though we saw, especially the services PMI drop yesterday, it has, you know, it has been above
That's what I'm telling you. I hate this
so
chop.
there has been some, you know,
I hate it.
outcome there, even though from the
You're not playing breakouts, you then need to just buy the bottom, sell the top.
almost 2% on that basis. So
Which was the plan?
from my perspective,
about, where do we see some growth areas,
I got scared.
and where do we focus on? And we've seen, good outcome, even from a business perspective. And if you compare it to what's happening in Europe,
15368.
Eurozone is going through a similar outcome also. I think they've had, their services and manufacturer PMI also dropped, and their growth on a quarter basis has been 43%. So, I think the UK is not that far down the lane.
Just briefly, do we avoid recession? This is what we're trying to debate because it's pretty important to the Bank of England. Briefly, knock that away for me. Do we avoid recession in your view in the UK?
So I don't think we can avoid recession.
And you're right. The 200 had been holding until I got out of the trade because it went underneath that. I really like, oh my God, keep dropping, and then, yeah.
We expect that to go into quarter two of next year, when we will see sort of the rate hikes probably come to an end. We are projecting 2 more rate hikes of 25
oh,
for September.
oil just gaining the loss. Nice. Dollar start to go higher.
And we do expect that this time next year we will be going back into positive trends. So that's the way we look at it. Just because I think you can see, the rate hikes are coming in and are having a lagging effect now, and this is the result of the PMI data that came out yesterday.
Are the hikes knocking your business? I know that you have NIMs. I know that you've got net interest margin, and that story is sort of are higher rates a threat to your business? Are they
Either 370
as a result of rates?
or 368.
Bringing in investments from our clients in our network, but also more importantly, working with some of the top 60 corporations and taking them also into our network, providing them with our own products and solutions. And we're really talking about the rate investment in this area necessarily.
317.
We have seen that trend continue for H1. I think we had a good
417
remove the NIM impact.
would have been a good short.
So I think we are very comfortable with what we're seeing in terms of the growth of our large corporates who are now.
None of the trade take now. It's a good one.
No?
No.
We talked about the Q1 versus Q2 growth rate of the UK and the US.
We're chopping, we're going up and down, so it's just mean stay away.
The EU zone has grown a bit higher, but the US economy has grown 6.5% between the Q4 pre-COVID levels to Q2. So the US economy is really doing well, and that's providing a good pivot.
Scalper showing that the bears are exhausted. Can they will try to push it this time or not?
We are actually in an expansionary phase here, both here in the UK and in our European we feel that within the corporate community, to do that. It's not just in China. I mean, obviously China provides, but we are seeing other markets like India, the ASEAN markets.
The book. Oh, you haven't read. We haven't read there.
Everything is red.
Pre-COVID levels. So our corporates are going into very different markets there. The supply chain distribution is moving out, not just in China, but we are following that trend very carefully.
So you're the newly elected CEO for the UK and for Europe, which begs the question then, I know you don't have a retail presence in the United Kingdom, but would you consider returning, I mean, it's been decades, over a decade since you've had that, would you consider a retail offering in size in the UK again?
Like I mentioned, Manus, we have an operation here. The model is working very well for us. The model is around
how do we ensure that we take our corporate institutional clients? One is sell
That
them,
was
the
nice
product and
entry on
services that
oil
we
to
invested
go
quite a bit
long,
already over the last few years, core capabilities both here in the UK and in Europe,
but
and
I
how do we
missed it
take them
because
to
I
our
was
network
sitting in
and
my
then
shop.
bring our network clients into these markets also. That model has worked very well for us.
So far today
We
only
will
oil is
shift
trending, the
away
rest of the
too soon
market,
from that because
it's not doing anything.
in terms of the opportunities and where we see growth, even in the next 5 years, this
Oh
model
my,
works pretty well for us.
Let's just square it away. You've got a virtual bank in Hong Kong and Singapore. Do you consider a virtual bank in the UK?
5 minute
I think
WMA,
I would say nothing is off the table. We have set up our
don't
SC
like they
Ventures
going
business,
for it this time.
which is where Mox, the virtual bank sit in. We continue to look at different options and
I lost you,
investment
Colton.
opportunities that come through.
I think so they going for to take the lows now.
They're taking the longs out.
Yeah,
Rishi Sunak is announcing that at Flex
Oh
will
my god.
potentially park the
Mm,
don't worry, it's not a complete left turn. He's going to have an AI summit. So this is interesting. Bletchley Park, the home of cook breaking, is now to host the World Summit on AI safety. I'm sure AI is on your table. What I want to know from you politically, have you been inside number 10? What are you lobbying? What are you telling the government to do? Have they got their hands around open
but
breaking
this is
AI?
also
And is the government doing enough to
379. It has
really
that
build
reversal
massive
line.
business?
And like I said, I was using those to go long. So there's 379 and 392.
I think so. I think if you see the amount of interactions we are having with not just with number 10, but with many of the ministers, especially around the trade front, I think that there's a lot of intent to listen. I saw an interesting fact, Manus, that I think it was an Oxford Insights research that was done last year, um, which measured government readiness for AI adoption, and the UK came in third globally. And so I think that's a big step, and that's a great platform for Rishi Sunak and the government of the day to build upon. Now, what's going to hold them back is that they have an investment for AI development, which is very key to how that rolls out. For only about £1 billion
Don't
right
exceed
now, this
3,300
business
daily.
should
Don't trade
increase
da.
many, many fold
Don't allow your
just
account to
with
go
the
below
new chipset and the
145
new chip size. So I think Rishi Sunak and the government
my
have to
account.
really focus on it. It is and it
Okay.
can be a competitive edge and an advantage for the UK. And we are seeing really good traction on it. It's about how to sustain it and how to put policies that enable this industry to grow and really evolve and we see develop very, very quickly. So we're tracking that. I think so far we see good messaging and I think we're seeing good rhetoric come out. So we will continue to work with the government and see how we can help.
Briefly, I know Europe is the other part of your portfolio, and I don't want you to
It's
walk
gonna
away
go.
without giving us
The
your
VWAP is
thoughts.
at the bottom of
How's the demand for
Frankfurt.
don't worry. How's the demand for credit
Hopefully that can
in
support.
Europe? Is there
I don't know.
slippage? Is it weakening? How would you best describe it to the market?
Oh, I think it's
We have
it's
another
I think
printout
it's
at
very strong demand.
153.8725.
Both the UK and Europe are all playing a very important role, especially around the sustainable finance space. If we look at the opportunities that we have in our networks on renewable financing, on transition financing, we have one number, which it could be
What
anything, but
happened?
there's one number just in our
Rejection.
network of sort of Africa, Asia, Middle East. They need $95 trillion
5 minute WMA.
to 2060 to get to any sort of net zero ambition. So I think that space is huge. I think the Europeans are playing a big role on that front, on the energy renewable space front, but also some of the largest corporates, be it on autos, healthcare, consumers, emanate from this neighborhood, right? And they are growing in their own markets, but they're also expanding globally. So we work very closely with them, and we do what we do best, is deliver our network to these names that we have great relationships with.
Saif, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Saif Malik, CEO of Standard Chartered UK, head of client coverage for Europe as well. His calls on the UK coming up on the show. Companies struggle to convince their workers to return to the offices. Well, Brennan Morge is rethinking his city centre strategy. I catch up with the CEO, Paolo Cristo. That's next on Bloomberg.
Dollar is really choppy today. Like the new heights below 200, above 36, and no real direction for it. Nice, slowly, slowly gliding lower.
What can sandwiches tell us about the UK's return to the office? More than you might think. Pret a Manger is one of London's most popular lunchtime destinations. Since COVID, they've been feeling the squeeze in the city, which has not yet recovered. In August, transactions were 79% of pre-pandemic levels. Hybrid working means that people are staying at home for part of the week, mostly men.
Okay, Sir Texas, I will be closing it because there is nothing for me to wait here.
Okay.
Just aren't selling as many
Okay.
sandwiches.
We'll try to join
Alrighty.
the New York. If not, I will talk to you on Monday.
Okay. Is Adam gonna do it today or no?
I'm not sure if you can, please, if you can check it with him, okay?
Okay.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bread is also no stranger to inflation. Over the last 2 years, this tuna baguette has risen from $2.99 to $4.25 today. This leaves Pret more vulnerable to competition, including from supermarkets.